What is going on? Welcome to another episode of Music Row Hideout, the show where we hang out with artists, musicians, and entertainers in Waylon Jennings' old basement studio. My name is Yuri, and as always, I am gathered here with co-host Ryan Poole, who I'll pass it to introduce the guest.
Well, tonight, on a very special episode of Music Row Hideout TM, we just try to make each other laugh in the intros by subtly varying.
I love that. Yeah.
We have the one and only Jason Singer, a.k.a. Michigander.
Hello.
Which, I have to say, is the Bon Iver of Michigan.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's call it good. That was a good podcast.
Wait, where's Bon Iver from?
He's from Wisconsin.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
because I was saying if he was also from Michigan, that'd be a little
neighbor.
awkward.
Next
Well,
door
I
neighbor.
think the real Bon Iver, Justin Vernon of Michigan, is probably Sufjan Stevens.
True.
But I'll take it. Screw that. Screw him.
Screw Sufjan.
Suf. Good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Fancy name.
Just kidding.
So I do mean that musically, but mostly in the name. So the first time I saw your name, I thought Michigander.
Yeah.
And then I heard you say it on a podcast because I do my research.
Thank you.
And
I do not.
You said Michigander
Yeah.
with an emphasis on the gan.
Yeah.
But I'm like, somebody else on the podcast, in my head, there's 7 ways to pronounce this, and I feel like it's like Bon Iver. When you said your own name, I was like, that's wrong.
Well, you pronounce Michigander. The right way is to pronounce it Bon Iver. No, I'm just kidding. I think Michigander is the way people in Michigan say it, but I understand why people say Michigander because it's Michigan. It's not
Right.
Michigan.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan. Oh, yeah.
beer makes me burp, so
We'll allow it.
that's gonna happen.
It's fine.
Okay.
So
And
I
Michigander is a musician from
Hi.
continuing the intro. I don't really have much more to say. I don't plan these things.
Yeah, we just talk about it throughout the rest of the time.
Indie musician from Michigan.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's how they got to that.
I didn't know that's what you call people from Michigan.
Well, there was a debate for years, and it was Michiganian, stupid,
Unacceptable.
and Michigander, and I was like, man,
What about Michiganites?
Michiganites is cool, but it's not right.
Okay.
Sorry. Michigander. And then Governor Gretchen Whitmer recently said it's Michigander, not Michiganian.
Like officially now?
Well, she's
on
a
the
governor. She almost got kidnapped.
What?
Did she deserve it?
No.
Okay.
But
She's like-
I
she's
won't
cool?
get into that. She's cool. She's
All right.
great. But there was a plot to kidnap her.
Oh, my God.
And send her to trial in the woods, by a certain type of people.
Wow.
She won re-election though a couple weeks ago.
And thankfully wasn't kidnapped.
She wasn't kidnapped, but could you imagine?
That's insane. That's like something you see on a cop show.
No, it was they were infiltrated by a bunch of people, and there was this group of I think maybe 12 guys that were we're gonna kidnap her and take her on a boat across Lake Michigan and sentence her to trial in of the woods because she told us we couldn't go to school because of COVID. Anyway, we're trying to get a COVID banner on the show.
Yeah.
is
Hey,
what I'm-
thank you. Thank
is
you.
what I went.
That was our
told.
first one. That was our first.
We got one.
Yeah, how many
Yeah.
COVIDs do we need?
I don't know.
We need 19
Before the algorithm
You know what
picks it
I'll-
up. Ah!
I will say, I've noticed that a lot of times our episodes get a COVID-19 banner right when they release because we usually
And then they
have
take it
said
away.
COVID, but they'll take it away if it's not really actually all about COVID.
Okay.
So I don't know if somebody reviews every episode.
Well, if they're
to
listening-
see-
Yeah, someone at Spotify listens to every episode.
No, they don't have enough money to do that.
No, he's just a fan.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. Hello, fan.
Not a Spotify fan. But I've done this the last 3 episodes. I'm sorry, Ryan, because you don't care about this. But my wife and I are considering at some point in the next few years moving to another state.
Oh, wow.
We've done a bunch of quizzes and things online,
Yeah.
where should we move, and looking up stats. And the number one place that gets recommended to me by all these websites is Michigan.
Oh, it's great.
And I have no idea why.
It's a great place.
Why?
Why is Michigan great?
Yeah, what's great
There's
about it?
a
It's
lot-
so cold.
It is really cold, and that's the worst part. But the lakes are awesome. It's really beautiful. There's really, excuse me. See, I'm burping, and okay.
Hey, we all burp.
I know, but I hate burping, and it's at least it's coming out the attic and not the basement. Am I right? I love Michigan. It is really, really, really cold, a lot, but it is also really, really, really fun. and we like having fun.
When it's not cold?
Yeah, and when it's cold, I mean, it's both. It's great. We got a lot of really good cities, amazing nature, but obviously it wasn't amazing enough for me because I moved here to Nashville, Tennessee, the dirty South.
So you're probably not the right person to ask about why I should move out of Nashville
Well,
to Michigan.
I plan on moving back there one day, but not right now. You
Like
know?
family reasons or just because it's so awesome?
Probably when I'm a little older and I have like kids and my family gets older and
It's always ranked for like years the #1 state to raise a family.
It's so good. There's so much to offer. There's like, I mean, you got like a big city like Detroit. You got a big city like Grand Rapids. You got like Lansing and Ann Arbor and Kalamazoo. And then you got the Tri-Cities, which is where I'm from. And then up north you have, see, I'm burping like a madman. You have up north, you have Traverse City, which is beautiful. And then all the nature.
So here, when I hear Kalamazoo,
Yeah.
it's only.
I think that's a made up word. I don't think that's real.
Exactly.
See, that's what they say. They love when people say that. Because like, we got a sticker for that. They actually have a sticker. Kalamazoo, it's a real place.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like until a few years ago, I didn't know it was real. I thought, because people would be like, all the way out in Kalamazoo. Like,
Right. Well, and before,
like it was a magic word.
but we used to say Timbuktu.
Yeah.
Timbuktu was the
Black
original,
Keys,
right?
The Black Keys had a song that was like, I went from San Purdue to Kalamazoo just to get away. And they recorded near Kalamazoo in that record, so I think it was probably...
Are they from Michigan?
They're from Ohio, but they live here.
Yeah.
Pat and Dan.
So I heard them. They were on the Joe Rogan show recently.
Yeah.
And they talked about Detroit.
Yes.
And they talked about like it being like a wasteland, and that they went and played a show there, and they brought that up, and people didn't like it very much, and they were like, they had to flee.
Here's the thing about Detroit, and I lived there for a year. Well, I lived in like Midland, Michigan, which was like this tiny little area, like tiny city, like the best restaurants in Applebee's, which is fine. And then I moved to Kalamazoo, and that's kind of where I started the band and started everything. And then I was kind of coming down here a lot, but like when I was long distance dating my wife, and but after Kalamazoo, I was like, before I move to Nashville, I'm gonna move to Detroit. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen really with this relationship. I kind of knew, but didn't really. So like, I got an opportunity to live in Detroit, so I moved to Detroit, and I was like, I always loved Detroit, and I don't want to like shit on it at all. But the problem with Detroit, one of many, is that there are areas that are really making a comeback, and there are areas where like the city and the government and investors are really investing in certain parts of the town, the city. But as a whole, they're not really caring about the people who already live there and have lived there for 40 years or so. So yes, downtown Detroit off of Woodward Avenue and all that stuff around the stadiums is really awesome. And like some of the neighborhoods around there, they're branching out slowly but surely. And then the suburbs obviously are like growing and are really nice. But then there are neighborhoods that I had never been to that I ended up moving into. And it was very sad because there was like shells of homes and a lot of poverty, and the system is not in favor of those people in those areas, which is, I mean, it's a bummer, but like I moved there and like I lived there for a year and I felt horribly unsafe. Just was like driving my bike around with my AirPods in and going like, oh, I probably shouldn't be doing this.
You should be wearing cheaper headphones.
Yeah,
at
I
the
should be
minimum.
wearing cheaper headphones and not a less
Maybe
nice
walking.
bike. Maybe walking, yeah, in my Chacos. And so there is a lot that Detroit has to offer, and it's really great, but it's a real bummer to see how much of the city... People are like, it's coming back, Detroit's coming back, and Detroit is better than it was.
I know you just want to do your Trump voice there.
I don't want to do the Trump voice, frankly. No, but the city is coming back in a lot of ways, but I also don't know if it... I think a lot of it... This is really serious, I feel like I'm getting. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is like forgotten. And there's those neighborhoods where like, we don't need to do anything about that because there's nothing that's going to bring tourists there anyway. So like, we don't need to pave those roads. We don't need to like patrol those areas. We don't need to invest in civil or like programs. And so it's a real bummer. But as a city as a whole, I mean, I hope it's for the best. But I think a lot of cities are probably experiencing a similar situation where they're building all these high rises and nice apartments, and like people like me who are like I'm like lower middle class, and I could never afford that. Even most middle class friends can't afford that, and so it's like, how do you afford rent that much?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So it's a sad situation.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that the city, like, I love. It has some amazing food. It has some amazing stuff happening, and like amazing people doing amazing things, but there's a lot that needs to be done, I think, for the city.
It's really interesting that you can have a city like Detroit that was like massive, like all the cars
Well, it
were
had an
made
industry,
there,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know what else they did, but I know they also
That
had
was
a
the big
strong
one.
music scene.
Right.
So they had, it was Detroit,
Motown.
Rock City. They had Motown. So like Detroit was like a happening place, and then because things switched, cars started being made more in Japan,
Yeah.
whatever, auto industry. Now it like became a ghost town, and then now we're talking about like a slow renewal.
Yeah.
But it's weird that can happen and that happened in the course of one person's lifetime. So like I'm like off the
Well,
top
that
of my
happened
head,
here.
or Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Like what if Silicon Valley, like all the tech companies
Crumbles?
moved?
I'm into it.
And then just like they'd be like, yeah, this place that was like super rich, it was impossible to live here, and now like Apple's Infinity Circle thing is just like a holodome.
it's just really, I mean, it's really crazy. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to Detroit, but it's
I have not.
It's an interesting place.
I've been to Flint.
Yeah, Flint's north of Detroit about an hour.
So, okay, I've got a thought
Yeah.
that I want to see how y'all think. Because this is something I've thought about before that I feel like is not okay to say. But I'm going to say it. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
I'll get the bleep button.
We're
ready.
canceling PC culture.
Like, it's not cancelable, but okay. So what you're talking about mainly is like gentrification, right? Pushing people out who can't afford to live there anymore. I mean, you hear about that happening here in every major city. This is happening, right? They're building these new places to live and new expensive things, and people who've been there for generations can't afford it anymore, which is terrible and sad. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side of that,
I understand.
isn't that also good and awesome?
Yeah, for now.
You know what I mean?
I wonder that too, because I go, oh well, if this doesn't happen, then where do these folks go? And is it good for people to move to a city? And as someone who moved here, I know both of y'all are moved here from California.
Mm-hmm.
I moved here from Michigan. It's a very big transplant city here in Nashville.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, isn't it good that we're coming here? Is it good for the greater good?
Just for
That
people.
are moving here, right? Yeah. So it is a hard. And I don't have all the answers to it, but it is interesting. I don't really know the answer to that.
Yeah. I don't really know either.
But
But
it
it just seems like making things nicer is a good thing.
I agree, but then I also think like, man, it's really hard for like me as like a person who's like an able-bodied, mostly working person to afford rent.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, how is it for like someone who's working at Chick-fil-A
Yeah.
to afford or
Yeah.
Sonic?
Right. And all that, like the personal side of it's so sad.
It is, yeah.
But like
Cost of living is really high.
and the personal matters too. Like a lot
Right.
of people had to discount that for the sake of just statistics only.
Yeah.
And I know I have a tendency to be that way because I'm a numbers guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I know for me, like we're thinking about moving. Before we try my way out of state, but and we're just like, well, we're just gonna have to move further away from the city because we live
Right.
next to, like Belmont right now, and every year our rent goes up like $300. Like you know. And so I'm like, well, we just have to move further away.
Right.
That's just like what I've accepted. But I also didn't grow up here. Like I have no attachment to the Belmont area.
Yeah.
Or it's not like where my family's from, you know? But I don't know. It's just a
Yeah.
weird thought.
Well, it's interesting because even like in East Nashville, like what you can rent there versus what you can rent like where I live off of Nolensville on the south side of town, and it's just wildly different. And I go, man, if I ever was to buy a house here, I don't think I'd buy it, and I'd probably live a little further away, like Madison or something. You know, people live out there.
But then you gotta drive here
You
every
do have
time
to
you want
drive
to do
there,
something.
but that's okay.
Madison is the like maybe the future.
That's what people are
think so?
saying.
The
An
future is Nashville.
old Hickory.
Really?
Out that way, yeah.
So if somebody's gonna buy a house,
You should
that's where
buy a
they should
house
look.
in Madison or Old Hickory. I think that's the future. They're building a Dose out in Old Hickory, which is
Dose?
Dose is
Coffee
a
shop.
Coffee shop.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's a restaurant,
Yeah.
great place, big fan. Go there often. Go there tomorrow. And they're building a location out there, which is pretty cool. I don't know.
I don't know if I've only been here a few years and I don't know where anything is in Nashville still. So I only vaguely know where Madison is, but I don't think I've ever been there.
It's on the others. There's not really a reason mostly to go. I heard there's a place out there called Pinky Ring Pizza. Have you heard of this place?
I have not.
My barber told me about it. He's a cool dude. You should
My barber's the one who told me Madison was going to be the next place.
Well, he bought a house there, and my bandmates all live in Madison. So I'm thinking, like, man, maybe Madison. And I have a couple other friends who bought houses out in Madison. So I'm thinking maybe that's the place.
Yeah.
For all the this is very specific to all the Nashville listeners.
Yeah. The barbers know. The
Barbers
know.
Barbers really do know a lot of.
But
I
it's
don't get my
not that
haircuts,
specific
so.
to Nashvillians because everybody's trying to move here anyway.
That's true.
This is probably the
True.
most universal thing you could talk about is
Right.
where to buy real estate.
I hope
in
we get a
Nashville.
banner. It's called like Real Estate Nashville. Like the COVID one and then Real Estate Nashville.
So, we are probably at that point where we should play a song.
I would love to play a song.
So let's go play a song.
Sounds good. This is a song called East Chicago, Indiana. I hope that you find somebody to love you. Someone who lives in the same world as you do. But if you ever wanted to leave there, just know that I'll be standing right here. And you can come on back to me. Come on back to me. Come on back to me. Well, you can come on back to me. Come on back to me. Come on back to me. I'm driving home all the way from Chicago. Falling asleep as I pass through the time zone. So tell me what's on your mind, 'cause I don't like being blindsided by you. It's nothing new. And you come on back to me. Come on back to me. Come on back to me. Well, you can come on back to me. Come on back to me. Come on back to me. Well, you can come on back to me. Come on back to me. Come on back to me. Oh, you can come on back to me. Come on back to me. Come on back to me. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where I am. You know that I've got you. You know that I've got you. Through all the rain and all the snow. It doesn't matter where we go. You know that I've got you. You know that I've got you.
And we're back.
Okay, so that was East Chicago.
Yes.
ask somebody who's about to go to Chicago.
Love Chicago.
What? How did you?
We are the Geography Podcast.
We are. Why did you write a song about Chicago? Why not Detroit?
Well,
Why not?
here's the thing. It's called East Chicago, Indiana. It's a real city in Indiana.
Really?
Yes, because there's not really an East Chicago. If you think about it, that would be in the lake. It'd be Atlantis.
Wouldn't it be like the eastern side of Chicago?
Yeah, so when you're driving from Michigan on 94 to Chicago, there's a city called East Chicago. It's near where the time changes from Central Time to Eastern Time, respectively. So I, as a Midwest musician, you play a lot of, especially if you live in West Michigan, you play in Chicago a lot. You drive to Chicago, you drive to Iowa, you drive to Madison, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, and so the song is kind of about, the song is, the first verse, I mean, a little bit about it is a little different. The second verse is about, like, my guitar player at the time. We were just kind of starting this band, and I knew he wanted to quit. And he's still one of my really good friends. And so that's what that's about, that second verse. First verse is kind of ambiguous in a way. It's
Top secret verse.
Is it ambiguous? It's kind of like a apply-all situation, kind of for whatever situation you want. Kind of about kind of having a crush on somebody who lives somewhere else. And this is a long time ago. 5 years ago, I probably wrote that song. But it was also a song where, like, I was making my first EP, and I was like, all these songs. I heard about, like, another musician friend of mine who was having some, like, relative success. He was like, I think of the record as every song needs to be a single. And that's like 2016 or something. He told me this. And I said, oh, yeah, that's a really good way to write a record. Because, like, if you want to get some attention, like, write every song is like, if you're playing this live, it's going to be a single. It's like something. So in my mind, I wrote the whole record as, like, each one of these is like a radio hit. And I wasn't expecting anything to happen with it. And I was like, except the last track, which is a song for me. It's 6 minutes long, and it's just for me. Like, this one is just like, I'm just doing this one because I want to do it. And I would show friends all the songs, like, these are great. And all my friends would be like, that last one's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yeah, but that one's my favorite one. And then we put the record out. That song ends up being, it was all independent. And that song ended up being like the song that people have attached to the most, that strangers come up to me and be like, that's the song I found you with. Or like,
really?
Just get messages all the time about, like, that song was, and it was like totally independent, no label, no team. And like, that song just like means a lot to me. And so it's like, oh wow, it's like, I don't know if it's because it's the Midwest and there's a lot of people who traveled that Central Time to Eastern Time. But like the lyrics are essentially about like being away from someone that you care about and being away from someone that you love. That doesn't matter where you are, but who you're with. It's kind of like my saying that I always say. And that's
now,
kind of.
Did you say this was like about a crush, or was
it the whole song is kind of about a bunch of
things. Okay.
A plethora of situations of people like, I like this person who lives here, or like this is about my best bud who's playing in my band. He's like wants to leave the band, and it's like all that aside, doesn't matter where you are, but I got you. Like, I'm your buddy. I'm here for you. I'm in any way that you need me to be here, I'll be there for you. And I think that's kind of what the song means. Because at the end it says, doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter where I am. You know that I've got you. Through all the rain and all the snow. Doesn't matter where we go. You know that I've got you. So that's kind of the vibe of that song. I think that just maybe resonates with a lot of people who, I feel like nowadays, a lot of people... I feel when I was younger, there wasn't a lot of like connection with folks who moved away. It was like when your buddy moved to California,
they're out.
You'll see them like once every couple years. Like I see my Uncle John every once a couple years. He lives out in California. But now I feel like there's just like this weird, like with technology and FaceTime and everything, you can feel closer to these people. Like my folks live in Michigan, and I have like a niece who lives in Michigan, and so like we FaceTime, and my wife's family lives in Illinois, and so we can, talk to them every day, and it's pretty neat. So, yeah.
You can do that.
You can, but you don't always want to.
Yeah, like since I've moved to Nashville, I talk to 0 people in San Diego.
That's
like
fair.
everyone I knew before I was 30 is like practically dead to me. Like I see them on Christmas when I visit one time, and I remember you, and then that's it.
But you see them on Instagram, you see them on Facebook.
So that's the thing. I don't really use social media either. So I'm just like isolated from
That's fair.
everybody I used to know.
Yeah.
by choice. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, not by like conscious choice, just by
Fuck
like my
those people.
personality.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
No, that's fair.
Yeah, I did it the opposite way when I moved here. I moved here in 2012.
Okay.
And, you know, Facebook had been, everybody had been on for like 4 years at that point. And
8, thank you. Got it mine in 2004 when it was
Yeah.
the Facebook.
This guy.
early
You
adopter.
Californians.
Early adopter.
But I don't know if it was good or bad because I really stayed in touch with everybody who I moved away from. Like I was able to kind of through Facebook stay in touch and kind of know what was going on in everybody's lives, even though I was here. And yeah, it was tough. And I would go back. I went back to San Diego 4 times a year, even
many.
5 times a year. For the first like 5 years of living here, I went back all the time, and so I like kept those friends
Yeah.
all alive, which was great, but also
Hard.
it kind of and it kind
That's
of
how-
also kept me from digging in here a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm also like someone who's like I need to make it home every 2 months to see family and
I'm
every
just
2 or 3
once
months.
a year.
And
Yeah.
that's a lot more practical
Yeah.
here though, because you're like 9 hours.
Yeah, I can drive or fly. You cannot drive to San Diego. I mean, you
You
can,
can.
and I
You
have
can.
done it too many times, but
Same.
But it's several days.
it's several
not-
days and not
Yeah.
great, and you get stopped at these border patrol places, and it's horrible.
You crossing into Mexico?
No,
or-
but like around like
no, yeah, just
Oh, yeah, I guess
even
there's some state-
from
like state
Arizona
things.
to-
You're right,
Texas
you're right.
to Arizona, you're always getting
Yeah,
stopped, and they're like,
there's some.
"What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm just driving
Arizona
to play
is
a
kind
show."
of a bitch.
Do you have fruit?
Yeah, I got no fruit. Yeah,
What kind of fruit do you
got
have?
any
boy?
firewood? They always ask us that when we come from
Firewood?
Oregon to California. There's a
Really?
stop, and they go, "You got any firewood?" I go, "Nope." Any produce? I go, "Nope."
But why firewood?
Probably like in Michigan they don't let you bring firewood into campgrounds because it's a thing called the emerald ash borer, which apparently destroys trees.
Emerald ash borer?
Yeah, I don't know much about it except I know that it's a thing that every couple years like there's an infestation of the emerald ash borer and it just like destroys trees.
So why
I
can't
think
you bring
there's literally
wait,
a sign
Oh,
about
like
it
they're
this
in the
neighborhood.
wood.
Yeah, they're in the woods. So like you brought it from like your backyard.
Oh.
It's a bug.
Oh, thanks, Jamie. Over here, it's the emerald ash borer, and also I don't know. I don't
Kinda
So you
like
bring some firewood
cicadas,
and that crazy
and that bug could be
grasshopper-looking
in
guy.
it, then it destroys the state
the whole
park.
forest.
I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha. We
Yeah.
don't want that.
You don't want to destroy the state
No
park.
But
one
also,
wants that.
like, I mean, if a bug can take it out, like, maybe it should be taken out. Survival of the
That's
fittest
true.
forest, right? That's what they
True.
say.
I don't know.
It's just
I don't know much about
that
it.
bug turns out to be like the king of the earth.
Yeah. Emerald ash borer.
Never ash borer. Emperor Emerald Ash
Emperor-
borer to you.
Yeah. Esquire.
Esquire DDS.
Yeah.
We had mentioned earlier that I was just thinking about this coincides with the
I
with
love
the
when
song
we
in a way.
both try to like we're like we both just had a
I
topic
saw you.
switch at
I
the
saw
exact
you
same
guys.
time.
You're both supposed to go. You're both going somewhere, and then he.
But I
won.
was quicker.
And he won.
a little quicker, a little stronger,
Yeah.
a little faster, a little better. You know,
what he
He's
told
better.
a guest? You know what he told a guest right before the episode?
last
like,
week or 2 weeks
no,
ago.
it was 2 weeks ago. He was like, Ryan tries to do this, and I try to do this, but I'm stronger.
You are obviously,
Cracked me up.
obviously stronger.
That was great. That was a great moment. But you were mentioning in your song talking about like loving people far away.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned earlier offhandedly when you were talking that you were also in a long distance relationship with your now wife.
Yeah.
I assume you guys were dating at the time.
Yeah.
I've also done a long distance thing, and it's
Nice.
kind of the worst.
Yeah.
Like you were in, was that when
Michigan.
you were in Michigan at the
She
time?
lived here,
and
yeah.
she was here. How was that? Like, how did you guys deal with that?
Well, it was very beneficial to
Really?
life now because
Really?
it was about a year. It was about a year of long distance, and we would see each other once a month. We FaceTime most days. But now since I'm a touring musician and she has been a touring person for years, just kind of phasing out of that phase of her life. It's really good for that because like when I leave for a month or a week or 6 weeks or whatever, she like understands the job and she understands like, oh, I'm not going to see you for 6 weeks. And for some people and some like partners of people who tour, that can be really, really hard and kind of can be detrimental to a relationship. Like I've literally seen it happen where someone's like, I want to tour, but they have this girlfriend or boyfriend and they, it doesn't end up working very well because they're gone for X amount of weeks and they don't understand like you don't really have a lot of privacy to like talk for like a long period of time with somebody. Like you're in and out of van. You're in a van, especially at our level. We're like in a van.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing. And we play a show. We got to drive. And then
You don't have like a fleet of buses.
we don't have a fleet of buses. Yeah, anymore. We did.
But it was just you were like,
Then
this
the
is just
pandemic,
too big, too much.
COVID. You know.
It was at this moment that he knew.
That's not the one I want. I wanted this one.
He's pulling his cock out.
Nope, that's not.
He's pulling his cock out.
That's also not. That's also.
With a double tap.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
That is my favorite button to press.
I was looking for the drums.
I love to sing.
Nope. That's good. Okay, sorry.
Drums
I,
aren't on this page.
Oh yeah, we have
So
two
you need to know
pages
we
of
have
sounds.
two pages.
oh, okay. I didn't know about the pages. That's
If you-
okay.
This is how you page. It's that button.
And now the drums are here.
Yes.
Now that's sweet. Okay, so yeah, long distance. It was hard, but we got through it.
Yeah, and I guess
Married
now it's
now.
good practice. So like now,
is-
so now it works better because
It's
of
awesome
that time.
because we tour. We understand. We have an understanding of what it means to be gone for a while.
See, I love long distance.
Why
Like
do
I
you-
like in person better,
Yes,
obviously for a million reasons.
right.
But there's one great thing, and my wife doesn't listen to these, so this is fine to say.
Let's hear it.
When you're long distance, we can hang out and talk, have a great conversation. We FaceTime or Skype at the time, probably, or whatever
Skype,
it was.
yeah.
And it's awesome. And then we hang up, and then I can do whatever the fuck I want for the rest of the time.
Play video games.
Exactly. That's usually what it is.
Yeah.
And and like I don't have to worry about another person or taking care of their needs. I can
Right.
just be selfish and do me the rest of the time.
That's great. I
And
hope your
something
wife
about
does
that's
not hear this
Yeah.
episode.
She won't.
Well, Jerry, divorce is always an option, and I just want to say that.
Hey, I said in person is better. All right. I prefaced it.
There are perks.
There are perks,
There are definitely perks.
but there's something nice about that freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
starting a new joke that I want you to divorce her.
Oh, by the way, I married his sister.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And
See? It's
I knew
extra-
him first.
nice.
It's extra funny if I like hate your relationship and want you guys to get divorced. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a new bit.
Yeah, that
is the bit. And then you can like say like I want you to be divorced. Divorce is funny.
But
With those drums, it sure is.
I love drums. Let me tell you about drums.
Let's hear it.
Here's the thing they don't tell you about drums. They're loud.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they say.
What if you just turn the volume down?
Oh, good point. Never tried that.
Yeah, that's what you
Good
should try
idea.
next. But you mentioned something very near and dear to my heart.
What's that?
Video games?
Yeah, I'm a video
You're a
game-
gamer?
I am, yeah.
Play some games?
Okay.
It's video gander.
Video. Michigamer. That is actually
Michigamer.
Michigamer.
That works.
That's actually my gamer tag.
That's your Twitch tag.
No,
That's your Twitch
legitimately,
stream.
That's my.
Is it
that's,
really?
That's my gamer.
Is
tag.
it?
Yeah, Michigamer.
That's dope.
I
Smart.
play. I don't really play a ton of a variety of games, but I'm really into Warzone.
The new one?
All both, all of it. The new one's amazing. People are trash talking it, but these are sweaty guys who are playing it, and they're like, it's a little slower, but it's more fun.
You're not a sweaty player.
I am, but it's
Okay.
also like this is like nicer for everybody. It's got proximity chat in it. I don't know if you knew that.
I heard that.
It is
What a mistake.
Very toxic and fun. So yeah. All to say, I do have a PlayStation 5 that I bought with my stimulus money.
That's what it was for, I thought.
Thank you.
We did the same thing.
Thank you. Really? Oh wow. Yeah.
The Stimulus 5 is they
The
call
stimulus PS5. So yeah, I play PlayStation. I play a little bit of Fortnite with Seth Mooney.
Classic.
You know, Seth Mooney boy. And
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
it. Yeah.
He's frankly a nice guy. A lot of people are saying, and
Tremendous guy.
he's a tremendous guy and good and nice. But I
Which
do play some video games. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I could sidetrack you from your sidetrack to say, I heard that you had a song that was in Fortnite. Or gonna be in Fortnite.
yeah, I did have a
What?
song in Fortnite.
Talk about this.
I don't know how. I just have like a guy who does that.
You have a Fortnite guy.
I have a licensing guy.
That's super cool. So is it like
And he would, and he know. Here's the crazy part about it. Like everybody on my team knows I play video games. They know that like if I'm not responding to something, it's because I'm probably playing video games or something. I play video games with one of my managers. Like they know I play video games. They know I play Fortnite, and they're like, of course. And they were like, it just like they breezed over it in a call, like the Fortnite thing. And I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, your song is in the Fortnite. It's in the car radio. I said, what? Like, yeah, it's in the song. It's in the game. I was like, they're like, no one told you? I was like, no one told me this.
That's
They're
so
like, yeah.
dope.
So it was amazing. I got to go in the game and turn on my car and had to wait for it. But my song Let Down was in there.
You should
On
just start
Rock-
joining with groups of randoms.
It's not on there anymore, I don't think. But Rock Royale was the name of the radio station in the car on Fortnite. And there you have it.
Man, that's rad.
It was cool.
I didn't play a lot of Fortnite. I played a tiny bit.
It's fun. What game
But-
do you like?
I'm an Overwatch
Oh,
player,
okay.
primarily.
Yeah, I've been playing a little. I played a little Overwatch. It's fine.
You just don't get it yet. It takes a while to get it.
I need a game that has good like controller feedback. Like that's what Call of Duty is like. You
that's
shoot
the
a
other
guy
thing,
and you're
yeah.
like, oh, that feels good.
You're on the console.
I'm on a
You're the
console,
controller.
yeah.
A lot less control than like
Yeah,
PC gaming.
right,
It's a
yes,
little
yeah.
different. But
The controller has like all the haptic feelings. in it.
Right,
Like, when you
right.
pull a trigger, it feels like
Overwatch doesn't have that.
Did they make like a haptic mouse for your people?
There has been things like that
They're
that
not
have come
good,
out,
right?
but nobody uses that. It's like gimmicks. Nobody wants that.
yeah. The PlayStation 5 controller is
It's really good. That dual sense whatever
it's
they put in
crazy.
it is
It's
like
nuts.
it's pretty gnarly.
yeah, it feels weird.
It feels like almost like 3D-ish.
I
Like
feel
I don't know how else
so
to
nerdy
describe
right
it.
now.
That's fine. You're allowed to.
Okay, I love it.
Look at us. We both got glasses.
We
We're,
get-
but yeah, sorry, Ryan. I'm not going to keep talking about video games the whole time, but I could.
I mean, you can, but
Okay, in that case, anyways, Overwatch
so I
is dope.
was, I'm going to exercise my greater strength to pull us back to music for a moment. Okay, so you and I were talking before the show that we found each other via Instagram.
Yeah.
And
Well, I found your band on the radio.
on the friggin' radio,
Yeah, I heard it's Living and Dying, right?
Live and Die.
Live
in
and Die
Misery, yeah.
in Misery.
in
on-
parentheses, though.
in parentheses. That's what
Right.
throws me off. I in my
It
head, I'm
is the
trying to remember
parentheses.
it. Parentheses songs always throw me off. The 1975 a ton of parentheses song. I can never remember.
The 1975 has like 20-word songs.
Songs, yeah.
yeah.
I like songs and they're awesome all the time, except when you sleep or something. I think it's one of their records. No, but I heard your song on the radio. It was during the Music City Mayhem
It's
thing.
like the coolest thing anybody's ever said to me.
Oh no, that
Yeah.
that's literally how I found. Like I was aware of you, and then I heard the song. I was like, man, this is. And I always try to try to keep up with like what's going on locally, and I heard the song. It was a great song. I listened to it yesterday too,
Oh, dang. Thank you.
and I actually listened to it on the way here. wasn't gonna reveal my cards, but I listened to it twice in the last 2 days. It was a great song, but yeah, and then I don't know, we interacted, and then you said, hey, I do this podcast, and I was like, I would love to be on your podcast, but I'm going on tour, so I can't do anything till Thanksgiving. Turns out I didn't go on tour. Broke my leg instead.
yeah.
Right. We talked about that a little beforehand,
Yeah.
but I purposely didn't ask
No.
how.
I was in California,
It's a great place to break your leg.
you know, and I was in Angeles Crest, which is north of Los Angeles, north of Pasadena,
Okay. Yeah.
between the city and the desert,
Okay.
shooting a music video, no cell service.
What song?
It's a new one, unreleased song called Super Glue.
Nice.
And I'm up in the mountains, and it's going great. Although it was like 105 degrees. It was like apparently some heat wave, record setting, whatever. In the mountains, shooting a music video, all going good. We're about to wrap on location 1, and I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. So I like walked in the woods and like peed. As I'm coming back, there was a lot of pine needles. I'm talking about like maybe a 3-inch incline. I slipped on pine needles. Not in my piss. I got to clarify this. But I'm walking back and I slip on pine needles and I rolled my ankle. Oh, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm trying to stand up. I can't do it. I cannot do it. And they're like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I don't have insurance. So how about we just like get in your truck and take me to urgent care and wrap this up, and then I'll just postpone the
back,
flight
yeah.
and we'll shoot tomorrow. Do the whole thing. Turns out I broke my leg in 3 places.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like hard breaks?
Like hard breaks.
Not like fracture, like a little crack.
Nope. I broke the leg.
Holy shit.
My ankle was just blah, blah, blah. My foot was just dangling. So I was like, okay. So they were like, I had to get surgery that night in California. Had to stay out in California overnight in a hospital. It's really cheap. And and
It's a great deal all
my
around.
wife came out to help me. Luckily, one of my friends was in town to help me like get to a hotel where I needed to rest, and I had to like use a walker and like hop through a huge lobby of a hotel that we had to book last second that was just near the hospital. It was horrible. And then I was like peeing in a Gatorade bottle because I couldn't get to the bathroom. The bed was like not good. It like kept falling into like the box frame.
Oh.
Yeah, everything was horrible about it.
So like you hate pine needles now.
We canceled all the future California shows. No, I'm just kidding. But
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that happened. And so I'm like bedridden at home for, I don't know, 2 months, basically on a scooting around my house.
Like one of those like knee scooters?
Yeah, I had to get a second surgery. I forgot to tell you that because the hospital in California didn't really do a good enough job.
I believe that.
And so my doctor here was like, you should get this fixed if you want to assure that you're going to be fine. And I said, okay, let's do it.
And you did want to assure that
I
you
did
were
because I was like, we need to get back and do, because we're like in the heat of like a cycle of music and like I had to postpone everything. Very scary to do that. And then like a month and a half into the scooter thing, my wife works at Brooklyn Bowl, the venue here in town.
Oh, cool. I just went there for the first time
Oh,
to
cool. Who'd
see,
you see?
St. Lucia.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So she works there and she was like, I'll see you later. And I was like, I'm going to play some Call of Duty. And she's walking to work and she gets run over by a truck while walking.
Like
Run over.
What kind of
like
tr-
full run
Like
over.
a Chevy 4-door, like big truck. Not
Did
a
the guy
not a
stop?
dually. Oh yeah, he stopped. He's a 21-year-old kid from
Of course.
another state. I don't even know if I should talk about this. Who knows? And runs her over. I'm getting a call while I'm playing video games, and I like ignore it. I ignore 3 calls from the same number because this is a weird spam call. Turns out it's a random valet guy who saw it all happen. He's like, "Your wife's been in a horrible accident. She's being taken to the hospital." And I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Is she okay?" And he's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Holy crap!" I thought she was dead. And then I was like, "I can't drive." And like our car is like downstairs, so I can't like get to the car. So I'm like, I'm just like scootering around my house, packing a bag, figuring out how I'm gonna get my scooter in the car, just crying, thinking, oh my god, the worst possible scenario. A friend of mine comes and picks me up and drives me to the airport or to the hotel or hospital, none of the other things, and had to lighten the mood a little. And when I'm 2 minutes from the hospital, she called me. She's like, I'm in an accident. And I walk in. She's like covered in blood and like puking. And
But
like,
she called you though. That's
yeah,
gotta be.
she
That's a
called
good
me.
call.
And I was like,
yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah.
45 minutes of me just like thinking, oh, I'm gonna go have to like, that's my dead wife. Like,
Oof.
that's like a crazy. You both are married, so like you understand. Like,
I am.
Oh, you're not married.
I'm not married, but working on it.
Okay, but you understand. You probably have someone in your life that you're like, oh my god. It's like you
Yeah.
never think of that stuff. You never think of anything like that. And like it's hard to like leave the house now. Like even to come here for her to go somewhere to Trader Joe's or whatever. Like she's just finally like she had a concussion, like cracked skull, like
Oof.
everything horrible, and she's like doing good, like really good now.
Covering good.
Yeah, recovering really good. Like she went to the grocery store by herself, and she's like doing stuff, and we're like making plans to figure out how we're gonna get home for the holidays and all this stuff. And so it's really encouraging, but like that's just nuts. Like,
That's
you don't
crazy.
think about that stuff. And like in the same time, like I have a broken leg. She had been taking care of me, and then she gets hit by a truck. Luckily, her family came down and like stayed with us for a couple weeks to get us on track. And then my brother came, and luckily we have a really good support system. And the community here in town was just like unbelievable. Of people just like reaching out and like, what can we
man.
do? Can we bring you groceries? What do you need? And yeah, but it just really radically changed my life the last 2 months with me breaking my leg and thinking like, how am I going to handle this? And then her getting run over by a kid.
Yeah, I can't even imagine because like if my wife tells me she's like doing a thing and she's like I'll be home at 11, and then it's like 11:30 rolls around in my mind I'm like she's dead.
Did you feel that way?
100%. I'm like
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like oh yeah. I'm like I text her. I'm like just text me. Let me know you're safe. Like do whatever you want, obviously, but like just let me know you're safe. And then she
Yeah.
won't. And she's also late to literally everything. So I'm
Okay.
just in a constant state of panic.
Yes.
But I can't imagine that if like something actually happened, like I would never
Stop.
let her leave the house ever again.
Well,
I'm
that's
like,
kind of how it
this is-
feels. Like I was supposed to go to town next weekend. And she's like, "Can you just not yet?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine."
100%.
Like,
yeah.
I'll just like
That's
I
terrifying.
understand. So yeah, it's crazy, and like it just has drastically like changed how I think about everything, and like how hard it will be to go back on tour, and how hard things can be, and but also how fortunate we are and blessed, and that we have people who care.
Yeah, it's such a crazy, like, random thing.
So random.
Because it could happen at literally any time.
It could happen anytime, but it also happened like while I was like
Right.
experiencing this like the worst time, like the most depressed time of my life, where I just like can't do anything. I was on like this whole track of like, we're going on tour, we got a song kicking at radio, we're like doing all this stuff, and then boom, like break your leg, everything's canceled or postponed, I should say, for anyone listening. We're going on tour in the spring. Hope you come to the show, but all this stuff, and it just sucks, you know. So who knows?
Yeah, so I like lightly followed that on Instagram.
Yeah.
I just saw, so I've started, so like backtracking. So you had,
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Commented-
I totally went.
that was
a
good.
Tangent,
That was
yeah.
like,
No, that was crazy.
yeah, it's a great tangent. Or not, it wasn't even a tangent.
Yeah,
Like all those
it's a
things, were
story.
things we wanted to talk about. I love those stories. But so bringing it back, but I'm coming back to where you were. So you had commented on our Instagram, and then we started talking, and then I was like, oh, this guy's music is awesome. So then I
thank you.
followed you, and then so I've watched a bunch of those things that you've just talked about from Instagram, and so I kind of I think one of the early things I saw is you were starting to promote Stay Out of It.
Yeah.
And then I saw that when you released it, that okay, I think I'm right here. It was produced by Tony Hoffer, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So I saw that and I'm like, oh shit, things are going down for this guy. Because, and this is like, I don't know if only producers would notice this, but I've been noticing over the years. I'm like, if Tony Hoffer produces somebody, their career's about to take off.
Huh.
Like every time.
Well, thank you.
And so I was like,
I hope you're right.
I was like, oh shit, stuff's going down with Michigander.
Yeah, he's
which
the
I probably
best.
said Michigander.
No, it's
But,
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Tony Hoffer's working with this guy.
Tony's awesome.
I don't know him at all. I just have
Do you know of
noticed-
him?
I know of him.
Yeah.
I know of his work.
Same until I got to meet and like, what the heck?
And so I'm like,
He's
oh,
worked on some amazing stuff.
things are going on. Well, I have a bypass in my head.
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
Like, I'll keep going, and then I want to come back to Tony Hoffer because I
Okay.
want to ask questions about that.
Yeah, I would love
So
to
I
talk
saw,
about
I'm like,
it.
oh wow, things are really going on with this guy's career right now. That's awesome. And then you announced the big tour, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow, he's going on a tour. And and I saw an Abby. We should mention Abby Holiday.
The best. Yeah.
Is
Opening the tour.
opening on the tour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Abby, she's married to Seth.
Almost married.
You mean
Oh,
Abby?
sorry, yeah, engaged.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Literally stuck in my head since I first heard it. I
Shout
can't
out
get it out.
Mooney.
Shout out to all of them. And Abby's going to be on the show. I forget.
Oh, right.
when.
January something.
The future. And okay. And then I saw like that you had broken your foot doing a music video
Yeah.
and had to postpone the tour till this spring.
Well, we initially only we were on tour with a band called Wildorado.
Oh, yeah.
Great band. And we had to cancel that one first. And they were like, are we going to be able to go on the other tour? We were unsure, so we were kind of holding the cards to our chest. And then we had to we can't do it. So we have to reschedule it all so people will hold on to their tickets. So it was like this weird, month period where like, I'm going to cancel my tour and postpone my record. But anytime I see anybody, they're going to say like, we're stoked for your tour. And like fans would come up. Like, it was so random. It was at Barista Parlor in Germantown. And this couple comes up to me like, are you Michigander? And I go, yeah. How do you know that? And like we're randomly in town. Like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I live here. Like, oh no way. And they're like, we're from Phoenix. We're so excited for your show next week. And I'm like in a boot and like, and I'm like on my scooter and I'm like, yeah, me too. And then like the next day it was like, we're postponing.
Did you already know you were going to postpone at that time?
Oh yeah, I knew.
Right,
Well, I knew for
okay.
so long, but it just takes forever to reschedule things. So it's like there's people like buying tickets still and like messaging me and like
Did you like
talking.
want to tell them?
I want to tell everybody, but I was like, I can't tell them. I
yeah.
have to like. Luckily, we lost like five. We were projected to lose like 50% of the pre-sold tickets, which is a huge
That's a
bummer.
lot, yeah.
But we only lost like 3%.
Oh shit,
Sick.
that's like nothing.
Nothing at all.
That's wild.
And then it was like more people were like, oh, now I can go to the show because it's like I'll be 21 or it's on a day I can go. I'm digressing right now, but so
No, I
you,
mean,
you can
that's-
keep going.
That's what our show is.
Yeah.
just
the
one digression after another.
Yeah.
So I mean, but that's like, so is it Wildorado or Wildorado?
I think it's, well, okay, one guy says Wildorado that I know, but I think it's Wildorado.
It's Wildorado. Yeah, I know
Great
their
band.
producer as well.
Oh, cool.
And they're a band that's like very
They're
much
just killing
on
it.
the rise and doing
They're
great.
like legitimately killing it and legitimately the nicest people. And they like being on the road with them. We got to do it for like a week. They're killing it. They're just really talented. They have it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like all of this, like your career was like on this like massive, and not that it isn't still,
Yeah.
but like you were in the middle.
Yeah, he postponed.
It's
Didn't
postponed.
cancel.
It's paused, right? But like your career is on this like massive uptick, like here we go, here we go, here we go.
Right.
And then like life just got in the way and said, nah, bitch, slow down.
I mean, it's the second time this has happened because it was like
'Cause COVID.
Because COVID, it was
Oh,
like
right.
everything was like, here we go. We're on tour. We're playing. We're scheduled for Lollapalooza. We're scheduled for Shaky Knees. We're doing all these festivals. We're opening for all these cool bands. We're with Silver Sun Pickups, all this stuff, and then opening. Oh, we opened for Bernie Sanders. We did this huge event with Bernie Sanders for like 10,000 people in
All
Michigan.
right, hold on. Wait a minute. You open for Bernie
Yeah.
Sanders?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It was
How-
the coolest.
Did you meet
thing.
him?
Yeah, we met him like very briefly.
Super nice dude.
So nice.
That's what everybody says.
Do you have an impression of him?
No, but you know how he was always introduced. Jesse Jackson was there too, so it was just crazy.
Oh, wow.
It was just a really cool event. And then it was in like that was like on a Sunday. I think on Tuesday everything was like closing down for 2 weeks. We'll see you soon. So it was like all this crap. I mean, like this isn't the first time I've experienced like it's something tragic, just kind of throwing a wrench into the cogs of life. So
At this point, you're just used to it.
I felt
It's like what you expect.
it's not as jarring as it was the first time, but this time it's like, oh, we have a really good record I'm sitting on that I've been like working on since December of 2020. Like recorded it, like demoed it all out in like early 2020. Started recording it with a different producer in 2021, and then we decided we wanted to go in a different direction. So we ended up working with Tony in California. So just like this whole very, 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 very long process of like writing and recording this record, and now it's postponed even more. So it just kind of feels like it'll feel really nice to get it out.
What do you make of that? Like, do you view? I mean, I guess on the surface, it's just like life happens and
Yeah.
it's just events, and I mean that could be all it is.
Right.
But like, I'm just curious. Have you thought about it over the last few years? Like, if there's like a greater purpose, or like if you're learning something through it,
Well,
or
Yeah, well, it started out in 2020 because we recorded my third EP, which is called Everything Will Be Okay Eventually. And I was like, man, this is so good. It's my second one with a label. And I was like, we had some like stuff. And we like had a song where we're like, we just need to put something out in 2020 and we'll save the rest for 2021. So I had this song called Let Down that I really, really thought was like the best song I've ever written. And I was like, this is a bop. Like, this is a song people will sing in the shower. This is a song people sing at the festivals. And my whole team, like, I love them, but like not everybody was like on board with the song. So like, we'll put that out as kind of like a bridge track. Song ended up being my performing song. It's a song that people sing at the festivals. It's the closer of the set. Like, it's just this huge song. And it was kind of like we'll just put this out. And I was like, okay, but it ended up doing really well. So I'm like, I'm hoping that since there's a couple songs that aren't out yet that are on the EP, and I think are gonna really, hopefully, fingers crossed, like do some cool stuff. But this was like this next one is the most time I've ever spent working on it, and it's also the most time I've ever spent waiting for it to come out. I mean, it's been 2021, 2022. Yeah, so it's been about 2.5 years working on it.
wow,
Yeah. It's funny. So I purposefully, when I know we're having a guest come on, do not look them up.
Okay.
I don't look them
You
up.
don't listen to it?
I listen to it only on the drive over.
Okay,
here.
cool.
So I listen. So I had heard I've heard a couple of your songs before through them, and then but I purposely don't Google anything or look
Yeah.
you up because I want to just
Have a conversation.
have a
I
conversation
love
and
that.
not know anything.
Yes.
But on the way here, I was playing your Spotify.
Cool.
And that
Thank
song
you.
came on, and I was like, "Oh, I've heard this. This is that was the first one.
Let
I had it
Down.
on shuffle, everything on
Yeah.
shuffle, you know." And then it came up, and I was like, "Oh shit, I've heard this." Like, I
cool.
was like, "Oh, I know. Like, I've heard this guy. That's cool."
Sweet. That's cool.
But
to hear.
it's just funny you mentioned that same one because that is the one that like I had definitely heard before.
yeah.
So, but it wasn't your most played. I don't think. I think you had one more
Misery
that
is
was
the most played. That's
Mm.
been out like a lot longer. So, but that was also like a song. I was like that got some like love at radio and those. Same with Let Down. Yeah.
that's an interesting thing I found with Spotify. Is like, like I don't know what you think about this, but like with different artists I work with, like they'll have a song that's like their best song or their most played song, and then they release new music, and it's really hard to like get it to that top spot because the other songs did so well and they have high plays on them.
Yes.
And when somebody goes to their page to check it out, they see those songs and they play those ones, and they don't even see the new song.
That's fair, and that is a thing that I, especially if I stay out of it for some reason, it's just like I feel like it's not getting the love it like on radio. It's like top 10 at AAA, which is like insane to me because that's like weird and something you don't like. You think of that when you're a kid, you're like, I'm gonna be on the radio one day, and then when you get older, you're like, I'm never gonna be on the radio, and then you're like on the radio. Like I go in my car and like turn on Lightning 100 or WNXP, and I'm like, oh, that's my song. And so it's like,
that's cool.
But it doesn't pop up like on the Spotify thing, and it's always weird. But who cares? It's out there. I mean, I want to care. I don't care as much as I used to. I used to look at the radio. I used to look at the charts like every day, like my numbers on Spotify now. Like, sorry, I don't even use Spotify anymore. I use Apple Music.
Oh,
really?
Sorry,
Weird.
Spotify. I just think it sounds better. I mean, that's really what it came down to. Is like audio quality is significantly better on Apple.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
That's not something I heard before.
I will say their interface is not great, but the audio is so good, and that's kind of why I like it. And the Spotify has its perks, and so.
Can you use Apple Music if you are not on an iPhone?
That's a good question that I don't know.
Because
no one knows.
Because I'm not
actually Wesley knows.
Jamie said
he says yes.
Thanks, Jamie.
No, because I have a very much like I'm not anti-Apple.
Right.
I am just pro whatever the best product is.
Yeah, totally.
And which hasn't been Apple since like the iPhone 5.
In your opinion?
And no, just based on stats and tech sheets.
Yes. Okay. I just like the iPhone. I'm just used to the
people love it because
iOS.
they're used to it and they like the way, and that's great. I have no problems with that. But I don't really like Spotify that much. I feel like I don't like the way that, I don't know, everything about it, something about like the way it functions when I use the app, I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I used to use Google Play Music. That's gone now.
That's gone now, yeah.
I liked that better.
Have you thought about using Tidal?
I did look into Tidal once.
Tidal is really, really good audio.
But they have less.
They have less stuff, but it is good, the best audio quality.
Yeah.
So, but it was purely like, also Apple pays their artists more than Spotify streams. So it's
like significant?
It's a good, it's not like wildly significant, but like it is a good.
I mean, it's still stream income.
It's
still
stream
like
income.
a penny for a billion
My
players.
kind of opinion on this of why Spotify dominates, or one of the reasons Spotify dominates, is that they're the only one that reports numbers.
That is, and see that I wanted to also get away from that. There was like a million reasons why I was like, I want to get away from Spotify. Strictly, I mean, they're great. They're really great to me, and like they get us playlists and they do. I'm very appreciative of it. But it was like, okay, the audio quality is noticeably compressed, and as someone who like most people, I mean, you probably notice it because you like work in music and you like produce, so you would notice the quality. Like do an AV,
right.
You would notice. 90% of people don't care. So I was like, I want a better audio interface. Like, I just want like a better quality of sound. I saw they pay their artists more. I was like, oh, that's awesome that Apple does that. And then I saw that, and then the whole thing with like paying Rogan $100 million for like
nuts.
No. 150 million.
100. Okay, yeah. And I was like, man, they're paying that guy $150 million, and Apple's still paying me more per stream. I felt conflicted about that. And then it was also just like, and I enjoy some episodes of his show. Like, I like I love when he talks to musicians. I think it's great because it's just like, it's just entertainment. And that's what his show is entertainment.
Yeah.
But then when he brings on like, and I'm not like against like talking to someone you disagree with. Tons of people in my life think different than me and stuff. But like when you're like giving people a platform who promote kind of stupid ideas, when most like it's like you're a candy store and you're like, I'm a candy store. Like here's an episode with the Black Keys, and you're like, awesome. I'm gonna attract all these fans. And the next episode's like, here's Jordan Peterson, and you're like, oh hell. And I just kind of think that stuff's shitty.
When he had Jewel on,
I haven't seen that one, but I've heard about it.
It's literally the best episode I've ever
okay.
heard.
I still haven't listened to that one.
Her story is incredible.
Oh, cool. See, I love when he talks to musicians. I think he asks the questions that you really want to ask. But I also, I just, and he's fine. I don't like, he's not like my worst enemy, and I'm not like 100% anti-Rogan, but he's just a dumbass. And he knows he's a dumbass. Like, he just asks dumb
He literally
questions.
says that all the time.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know shit. Like,
Right.
don't listen to me, right?
But sometimes it's just like, come on.
Yeah.
Pay some artists, pay an artist $100,000 to have their music exclusively on there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think about the Spotify problem or just streaming problem in general all the time, and not for any practical reason, just because I can't change anything. But when you think about it, like the record labels, the big record labels,
Yeah.
must just make so much money from it.
They make a lot of money. It's kind of it is a bummer because it was like, okay, but here's the plus side. I'm very pro streaming because I would not have a career if it wasn't for Spotify.
It's more about the access than anything.
Oh
right?
yeah, like you have to be accessible. Like there was this weird time, probably 2016, like 2012 to like 2016, where bands were like not wanting to pay the distribution companies to get their music on the DSPs. And it was this whole weird thing where it's like, you could only listen to music on Bandcamp. And I was like, what if I want to buy it on iTunes? And they're like, well, the artist didn't want to pay the $20 a CD Baby or whatever a month to get the music on the streaming platforms or the digital platforms to sell their music because they didn't want to put a cut. So it was always like their music was only on Bandcamp or like SoundCloud. And then you realize like, oh, I'm touring because Spotify put one of my East Chicago on some like Discover Weekly, and now it has 2 million plays, and I've made like $10,000 from that song over the course of like, I made like $10,000 off that song. I don't know, these numbers very hypothetical,
Right.
but like making that much money off that song over the course of 5 years versus like I had a bunch of my friends buy my CD at the merch table,
Right.
and then
Things are just different now, though, right? I mean,
right.
it's
different,
like,
and it's fine, and it's more accessible. Like I love that
Yeah.
it's accessible. I love that I can like meet someone in a hotel lobby and like, what do you do? And I was like, I'm in a band, and they're like, oh, I'll check it out, and they check it out, they follow it, and then like
right away they can listen to
they
it.
can listen to it right away. They send you a DM, like your music, bought a ticket to the show. Okay, and that was my whole thing with TikTok too. Was like, I don't want to do TikTok. TikTok sucks. I'm better than that. And I don't love TikTok. I love consuming it. I don't like providing TikTok content, but. You know, I'd go to play a show, and I'd sign a CD after a show, or not a CD, like a record, and which is so funny to say. But I signed a record, and I was like, how'd you find about the music? Like, TikTok. I was like, TikTok sold tickets. I took 30 seconds of my day, made a stupid video where I'm just staring at the camera and put some text over it, and I sold 2 tickets to a show. That's worth it,
Yeah.
100%.
But it's like, I feel like back in the day, which
Yeah.
was a Wednesday,
Yeah.
you anything you did is that you wanted to make money at, like you wanted to take anything that's a hobby and make it a career or make something, like you could do that by selling X.
Right.
And I feel like the new system it's not that there's less money, it's that it's later money. Like you have to work
Yeah.
for free longer,
You do. You really do.
which is a bummer.
It is a bummer.
But if you push through that, like all that money is still there. Like
But
all that success is still there.
It has weeded out a lot of people who are just like instant gratification folks. Like I know so many people who are like, they don't want to put the time in, and you have to put your time in. You had to put your time in back then too. Like I had to hop in a van
Right.
and tour around, do like 2-week run and play horrible shows, but start building that fan base for negative money because I had to pay the band or like pay for the gas, pay for the hotels, pay for the food. And so you just like work a ton at your coffee shop job and like save up and like just like make no money and like not do anything extra. So you have the money to pay the band regardless if the tour makes any money. That's always really exciting when it did. Or like you sold some t-shirts or you sold whatever. And it's very true. It's like you write, like this town especially has a lot of songwriters. And so folks will just be like, I got 3 song sessions a week and I'm writing a song with this artist, that artist, and another artist, you know? And that's if that song gets cut, holy moly, you can make a lot of money. You can make so much money doing songwriting. Song gets on radio.
But how often is it getting cut?
Yeah, how often is it getting cut? Like,
How many are you doing for free?
Like if you do 150 songs a year, which is
Right.
I think maybe like 100 songs a year, if you get get a handful of those cut, and it's like a real artist who is like getting radio play, has a sync team. Like I wrote a song with my guitar player, and we're like, let's just write a song. We wrote a song, and it got on Grey's Anatomy.
Nice.
Is that still running?
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Holy
but
shit!
It got on Grey's Anatomy, and he just like, oh, I was like, Jake, you're getting paid, man. You wrote that song with me. Like you like took your time. Like you're getting paid for that. And he's like, whoa. And I was like, how cool is that? Like imagine doing like 100 of those years, and every time that streams for the rest of his life, he'll get royalties.
So
Man,
recently, there's this sync company I started working with Night Tides.
Cool.
And they sent out like an email that was, they were like, hey, Pepsi Canada is looking for a cover of like a retro song. And they had like 6 different examples. They're like, we either want it to be blah, 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 blah. Anyway, one of those examples was Good Vibrations.
Oh, cool.
By the Beach Boys. And that we lean towards Beach Boys things. And so
I saw your print over the Good Vibrations print in the tracking room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I realized after the fact, and now I'm like taking it as a good omen.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, but they wanted it like, I got this on like a Tuesday night. We had a show that night, and then they wanted it Thursday afternoon.
Right.
And so I had basically Wednesday to do it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I have an unfair advantage that I have a studio. And so I was like, all right, I am making a cover of Good Vibrations tomorrow. And I brought me and our guitar player, Nathan. We did the song from beginning to end in one day. And then I mixed it in 5 hours and I sent it off. And there's not a good ending to this story yet. Or there's no ending to this story yet because we haven't heard back yet.
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But it's like $100,000 if you get it.
Right.
And you're played in a national Pepsi ad in Canada. And I'm like, that could like change
That
our
would change your
lives.
life.
Wasn't
Yeah.
there another level to it? Like they said, we want songs like this, and the example was your song or something.
That was a different thing.
Okay.
The way I found this sync company in the first place is they put out a call and they were like, we're looking for fun summary songs. And I was reading it and I'm like, we have a few fun summary songs. Like, which one will I send? And then they were like, here's examples of songs we want. And it was like Valley, the band Camino, I forget, one other, like the 1975. And
Yeah.
then they're like, Night Tide's Your Window. And I was like, oh shit.
That's cool.
We are Night Tides. So I emailed them. I'm like, we're Night Tides. You could just use our song. It doesn't need to be like it.
Did they use it?
No. Probably because it took me a really long time to onboard with them. Because I don't know how your sync companies are / you
Yeah.
have maybe it's easier if you have a team. I had to do it all myself.
Yeah.
And so I cannot tell you how, like, it took me at least a month to fill out all of the forms, to get every band member's signature.
Oh yeah, it takes forever.
And yeah, and to like
Get it approved. and
create,
everything.
and
Yeah.
then we needed to create stems versions of
Yeah.
every song. So I had to go through all the mixes and create
Right.
those and then get them. It's just so much.
It is a lot, yeah. But once you're in it, it's good. But it's just interesting.
But speaking of songs, we should probably play the second song.
Oh, wow, yeah.
What a
Like
whirlnight.
that segue?
That was a good
That was
segue.
a nice
was.
segue.
That was.
right?
I'm gonna
What
push
do
a
you
button
You
just to
you
see what
press
it
all
does.
the buttons.
Song time live.
Oh,
Here on the show, we're about to play a song for you.
just let them all run simultaneously.
Yeah, just I won't do that. That would be really annoying.
But anyways, yeah, we'll head over and play a song.
Love to. This is a song called "In My Head." I picked a random number. They said it won't be long. I never have to know I'm right before I admit I'm wrong. I got a new tradition. I hid it in a song. Now I never have to know the words before I start to sing along. I close my eyes when I try to see. I bite my tongue when I wanna be heard. I try so hard to fight the feeling that's all in my head. all in my head. It's all in my. It's the 11th hour. I never need my alarm, 'cause all I do is announce myself. I am calm, I am the storm. I am calm, I am the storm. I close my eyes when I try to see. I bite my tongue when I wanna be heard. I try so hard to fight the feeling. It's all in my head. It's all in my head. It's all in my. I think I've told this joke before, but it didn't land then, so I'll try it some more. I've turned down all these roads before, but they come back around, say it's a little bit more. I close my eyes when I try to see. I bite my tongue. I close my eyes when I try to see. I bite my tongue when I wanna be heard. I try so hard to fight the feeling. It's all in my head. I close my eyes when I try to see. I bite my tongue when I wanna be heard. Try so hard to fight the feeling. It's all in my head. It's all in my head. It's all in my head.
And we're back.
Hello.
So that was In My Head.
Yeah.
Okay. And
The baritone guitar version.
Yeah, which is super cool. And you told me the story before. I don't know if you're allowed to say it in a public way, but
Yeah.
that
I
was
don't know either. So
That was
I
a
won't.
very special baritone.
Very special.
Very special.
Destroyed a man's career. Potentially. Yeah, but I got I the thing about it is I didn't play either of those songs in the right key because I didn't know where I was capoing. It's all tuned in weird things. So just
You made it up.
it's probably not. It's it's a very unique performance of both of those songs, but they're definitely not. Sorry, they're not the best.
That was a once in a lifetime version of In My Head.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
okay, so
Which you can watch on YouTube now.
So that song features Manchester Orchestra, which is super cool. We both saw Manchester Orchestra years ago.
Yeah, like-
at a concert with Jimmy Eat World.
Oh, cool.
And it was
and
Jimmy Eat World,
Brand New,
and Thrice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a dope show.
So Manchester Orchestra, like they've been killing it for a really long time.
Right.
So how did you end up collaborating with them? How does that happen?
Well, I told him I was dying. No, I'm just kidding.
Guys, I broke
Make a
my
wish.
leg.
And
Make a wish.
So that's a band that's really important to me, and they've always been really important to me. Like, partially one of the earlier bands that like influenced me to make music. And so one day, I was at home in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I did a little Instagram cover of a song called "Girl Harbor" from their record Cope. Just covered it, and I tagged Andy Hall, the lead singer of the band. He followed me. He said, "This is good." I said, "Thanks." Didn't think anything of it, but I was like, "Oh my!" Obviously, I got to tell everybody. Andy Hall followed me. Holy moly! And then fast forward a couple years, and I told my label guys, Andy Hall followed me. He's like, "Whoa!" He's like, "I know their management." Turns out they were going on tour. They released this album called Million Masks of God, which is a very, very good record. And then they said, "Do you want to open for us?" And I was like, "Sure. Obviously, yes. Thank you, please."
Nah, not interested.
No, I'm good. I'm busy that day. So they said, "Do you want to go on tour?" Obviously, want to go on tour. And then
And you broke both your legs.
broke both my legs.
Oh my God, it can't stop.
This was probably in 2021 summer, end of August. They were like, "You want to go on tour?" I said, "Yes." And then we set up a writing session after that. So I was like, "Hey, I also like to write songs if you guys are interested." And they're like, "Yeah, come on down to Atlanta." So I was down here visiting Brittany just before I lived here. And I drove from Nashville to Atlanta, knock on a door. I pull up to this random neighborhood, just like a suburban Atlanta house, knock on a door. Andy opens and we go inside, and Rob's there and Jamie, their engineer. And we sat down, and I was like, here's an idea I have. I'm like, cool. And then we wrote it for an hour, started tracking it. Boom, boom, boom. Wow. I stayed the night in a hotel, came back the next day, did the vocals. And I was like, we got a song. It's at least a demo. Listened to it more and more, and I was like, well, yeah, I mean, this is pretty much there. If we get it mixed and just beef some stuff up. So we beefed it up, got it mixed. We're like, this is good to go. You think, and then they agreed to letting me put their name on it. They took us on tour, and then we released it after the tour. Got to shoot a really cool video for it in the Fillmore, Detroit, which is a venue I grew up. Man, I haven't really processed this yet, but they're a band that that means so much to me. And then I got to record a live video with them in a place that means so much to me. But they're really the best people, and Andy especially has become kind of a mentor to me, and they're just really good people. They really are good examples of how to treat other people, and it's very inspiring. And on top of that, they're incredible musicians, and their live show's incredible. And yeah, they're the best.
Yeah, isn't it interesting when people who have some notoriety or fame are nice people?
But most of them are. That's what I'm realizing.
Like, people are just people.
Yeah,
but there are some assholes.
Definitely, there are some, but it's also nice to be, especially coming to a city like Nashville where there are wildly successful people that I look up to that I would love to get in a room with and make a song, or write a song, produce a song, have them play drums on something of mine. And most of the time, it was funny because I just messaged a guy that I always wanted to work with before the show. I just DM'd him on Instagram, and I just texted my other friend. I was like, just shot my shot with this guy. See what happens. And just a minute ago, I saw that he texted me. So,
oh, wow.
It's like, holy moly. So I'm like, it's just like most people
are cool.
Are genuinely kind, and so as long as there was this drum guy in Los Angeles when we were recording at Sunset Sound with Tony, and he came in and I was like, what do you do? And he's like, I just set up drum sets for artists who are recording. And I was like, oh, so you probably do a lot of cool stuff. He's like, yeah, I was working with U2, and I was working with Lizzo, and now I'm going to record this Marcus Mumford record. And I was like, holy moly, Mark, and just all this stuff. And I was like, what's some advice? I always try to ask people, what do you learn? What do you? And he's like, well, I treat famous people like just normal people, and I treat normal people like famous people.
That is such a old-timey LA guy thing to say.
He told me some crazy stories. But yes, it was a very old-timey LA. The drum doctor, he brought a drum set for us to record.
I know of him.
You probably know of this guy.
Yeah, I know of him. I think he was in a video Ryan Hewitt did. I don't know. Do you know who Ryan Hewitt is?
Who's that?
He's an engineer. He did all of Wilderado stuff.
Oh, okay.
So he had some videos about engineering, and the drum doctor's in them.
Oh, I bet.
I'm pretty sure.
He's a character. He's the guy in Los Angeles, and he came and set up a drum. Tony said, this is what we want, and he came. He's like, this is what you get. This is the sound we're going for, and this guy came and brought a bunch of stuff and set up our drum kit for us.
Okay, so I wanted to talk to you both about Tony Hoffer and about Sunset.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, so how does one go about working with Tony Hoffer? Did he call you? Do you call him? Did your management call him? Did you pick him? How does that work?
So we were I was recording with so I made all my records that I've ever made with a guy named Jake Rye back in Adrian, Michigan, and he was kind of the first guy I ever recorded with. So I made 3 records with him, and then we started working on the 4th one, and we kind of thought the label kind of was like, we should try something new, just to see. And I was like, yeah, I'm into that. We already recorded the record basically with Jake, and so I told Jake, I was like, we're gonna go work with Tony, and see how that goes, and just to try something. The one thing you realize as an artist is you get really I hate using the word artist, but you
I am an artist.
As an artist, no, but the one thing you realize as artists, you get really comfortable doing the same thing, and it's even with touring and playing how you play the guitar solo and everything. You're like, I think it's like riding a bike, but like the best stuff happens when you push yourself and do something new, scary, and like, I don't know. So I was like, okay, let's do something new. We need to do something new because this is like, in a way, in my mind, like this is probably my last EP before I make like a full length record. But hopefully, and so it's like we got to try something new. Well, and if we don't, then we have this great record we made with Jake, and so a couple producers were kind of like interested in working, and so I interviewed 3 producers, and Tony just kind of seemed like, I mean, it's Tony Hoffer. He's like Grammy nom, like has worked on some incredible.
For the listeners at home,
M83, Phoenix.
He did Midnight City, which is like, that song was inescapable. Do you know that song, Jerry? That's like, I was going to do that.
I know that song.
I know
that song before you sang
it. And then the greatest saxophone solo ever.
He did the Kooks.
Silver Sun Pickups.
First of all... Careless Whisper is the best saxophone of all time. All right. And if you don't think that, you're wrong.
Man, the mashup will be incredible.
Yeah, you can work on the mashup.
All right.
Yeah.
And he also did the Foster the People Torches album.
He did stuff on that. Yeah, I don't think he did the whole record, but he did a couple songs. But yeah, regardless.
He's
like,
just the man.
He used to play guitar for Beck. He did some Beck records. And it was like, okay. And he was like, the cool part is like, I said, Tony, here's the songs I'm working on that are kind of done in a way, or like there was like a version of them that were done. And I said, here's what I want to make. And I like sent him like, I would send him like records that, I love U2 and I love Coldplay and I love Oasis and like those bands who like.
I love Oasis too.
People like piss on those bands a good amount. And they're massive artists, but they still get a lot of like flack, and understandable. They're very insufferable people. But the music they make is the reason why I make music. And so he was like really excited about those things, and I was like, none of the other producers were like as excited about. Some, but it just made sense to work with Tony. I shouldn't say anything else besides that. It was just like, let's work with Tony. So my label just kind of like, we just kind of narrowed. We had like a list of 10 we reached out to. These were the 3 that were like the most interested. Tony was one of them. Tony obviously ended up being the guy. And we flew to California, recorded a lot in his studio, and then we just spent a couple days at Sunset Sound, which was is obviously a legendary place that like every artist has made something. I mean, we worked in Prince's room. We used a mic on a snare drum that was labeled the Prince mic that he used for all his vocals. We used the Steinway where like Fleetwood Mac would play, and like everybody.
Do you know what kind of mic it was on the snare drum?
No, but it was. I mean,
it was Prince's.
The amount of microphone, it was like literally had a piece of like a label on it. It's like Prince's mic.
Wow.
It just it was like we saw the reverb chamber where it's like, oh, that's the plug-in. The Sunset Sound like reverb room is like right here. Recorded some songs live in the room, which we'd never really done. Just loads and loads of cool things, and I'd never worked in a commercial space before. So I was like, this is interesting because like we're in the courtyard. There's 3 studios. There's A, B, and C. I think we were in C. Or 3. Studio 3. 1, 2, and 3. We were in Studio 3. Yeah. I hope I'm getting this right because I can't remember. But like we're in the courtyard. And we're just like Midwest guys. We are so basic.
You're not California guys.
We're not like, we don't know
You're not an LA guy.
We're not like an LA guy. We're not like, we don't sell like thousands of tickets. We're in a place we're in a place that's above our pay grade.
You don't have frosted tips.
No.
Yeah.
No. I don't have a Tesla. I just like drive like a CRV. And
a gas car? Is that even allowed there? I don't anymore. I don't.
And I'm just sitting there in the courtyard, like writing in my journal while they're setting up drums, and Rufus Wainwright walks in. I'm just like, holy mo! And my guitar player's like, looks at me, and I was like, yeah, I know who that is. And it's like, Rufus Wainwright, I guess this wasn't a thing I even thought of, that there would be people in the other rooms. And then he's recording a record, and he has musicians that play on the record. They're all like James Taylor and Randy Newman's guys, and we like talking with them and like made friends with these guys. Like you like played on all these like Randy Newman and James Taylor records that I grew up listening to. And then he had another musician with them, Andrew Bird, who is also just like a huge
Yeah, I
artist.
saw him with Death Cab for Cutie at Red Rocks.
Oh, amazing. So Andrew Bird is playing on Rufus's album, and it's just like we're all just hanging out. And then I was like, this is so cool. Like I was like, Tony, like Rufus Wainwright's over there. And he's like, yeah. He's like, that's what happens here. And he's like, it's crazy. And then I'm sitting out in the lobby, and Miley Cyrus is in the other room. I'm like, holy moly! It's like my little dumb band here, tracking drums, and Miley Cyrus is making some album that will win a Grammy, and Rufus and Andrew over there. It's just like that vibe. And I'm working with Tony Hoffer at Sunset Sound, in Los Angeles, and it's like, holy moly, like that. And I think in the new record you hear this like the excitement of like being in a new place. No shade on what we did with Jake, and everything I've done with Jake is highly important to like the future or like to my history, and I wouldn't be where I am without those recordings and what we did in Adrian, Michigan. But it was just time to try something new, and I'm glad we did. Yeah. And especially with Tony. Yeah.
I'm totally like Jake. Like like with the artists I work with, I'm like a Jake guy. And then like I know that at one point my artists are gonna like.
Is that hard for you?
They're gonna have to go work with Tony.
Yeah, but it's a natural progression, and you understand that, right? Like, or like, is that hard for you, or is it like?
Well, you know, I have yet to have one of my artists go work with Tony, so it's okay.
Okay, yeah.
So I haven't yet have to realize if it's hard or not.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll become Tony before that happens.
Right.
But I get that is like a thing.
Yeah, it's definitely hard, but
I think for me, and it's all very, very hypothetical, but with the artists I work with, or even my own band or whatever, if somebody is moving from me to like an obviously better person, that's easy.
That's a compliment.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
But if it's like a linear or
the linear move is a little harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, the linear move is a little bit harder. Although I have experienced that as well. I don't know. They'll never listen to this episode, but there's a person I worked with who made a linear move, and they work with me and a linear person, and as long as the person does great, I'm good with it.
Right.
I actually have this one artist, and they moved with several different people who are sort of linear, and one of them sort of, I was like, whatever. His work actually kind of sucks. That's hard.
Yeah.
If they're working with somebody though, and then I heard the track and I was like, wow, this is great, and it's different than I would do, that's when it's good for me.
Yeah.
If it's different than I would do, and it's good, and I would never do it, then I'm like,
Right.
oh yeah, it makes sense to work with somebody else because that's not what you would get with me. I would never do that, but it's great.
Totally.
So I think overall I have an attitude of like, as long as the work that somebody's doing is awesome, then I'm happy for you. But like the worst would be if somebody goes and works with somebody else and it sucks.
Right.
Then you're just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
That's showbiz.
That's showbiz.
That's showbiz, baby.
Yeah.
That's the title of the episode now, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's showbiz.
But yeah, I'm really excited for the record.
Yeah. So do you have like a whole bunch of songs that are like
Well,
in the wings?
the problem is we were like doing the cycle for this record, so we kind of like we're like we'll put the first single out, which is "Stay Out of It." We'll put the second single out, which is a song called "The Other Way," which was tracked live in like full band, like we just rocked it in the room.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, at Sunset, which is like so cool. Like you can like hear the room in it, you can hear the air in it, and it's sweet. And that came out, and then we're like we're gonna put out Super Glue, and then the record will come out, and then. So now we're like in limbo, but like So I put out an acoustic version of "Stay Out of It." I put out this Christmas song with Seth and Gabby and Abby, and that one is like, I was like, just feel really good about it.
Dude, that song, by the way, it's great.
Thank you.
I was listening to it earlier today.
Thanks.
And it's
So nice. Yeah.
it's so good.
We just wrote it. We were like, we should write a Christmas song, and Seth was like, nah, and then Seth was like, actually, we should try it, and we did it, and then we produced it with our friend John Class, who lives here in town, and he did a really good job, like helping us portray like what it should sound like, because it's a really risky move. But I was surprised we wrote it. I was surprised we recorded it. I was surprised it got recorded that well, and then I was surprised it got released. But but I'm really happy with it.
Yeah.
But you just like, you want to write a Christmas song, and everyone's like, no, not really. Mariah's got it covered. So, but I'm really happy with how it turned out.
It's great. Like,
Thank you.
Melodically, like the melody in it is like as good as any other song.
Thank you.
Even though it's a Christmas song.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's more of a wintry song.
It has wintry energy.
So that was kind of the vibe I was going for. I was like, we need to write a song that can be like listened to from like Thanksgiving to New Year's, not just a song around
I think that's
Christmas.
called a Christmas song.
Yeah, but it's more like it's kind of the song you would listen to like where you're driving from like your college town to go visit mom and dad back home.
Yeah. It doesn't have like cheesy Christmas energy.
No.
You could
There's
listen to
there's a
it
couple
anytime,
references that are a little
Yeah,
close.
for the record, there is nothing wrong with cheesy Christmas
That's right,
energy.
that's right.
Cheesy Christmas energy is the
The
best.
best, it is the
I love
best.
cheesy Christmas energy.
It's the best.
I listen to Mariah Carey on repeat starting
Yeah.
on Thanksgiving Day.
It's great on Spotify.
Never before, though. That is my rule. I do not do anything Christmas related before Thanksgiving.
We set up our Christmas tree on. We were really depressed because of my wife and broken leg and everything. So we set up our Christmas tree on Halloween.
Oh, shit.
It was nice.
That's borderline
we watched
sacrilegious,
Elf
though.
or something. It was
We'll
great.
have Halloween on Christmas.
Yeah, it was great. It was good. So yeah, but the record is coming out now in March 31st. It's called "It Will Never Be the Same." It's my best group of songs I've ever made, and
Is the whole record dropping at that time?
March 31st. Yeah,
Nice.
So there's 6 songs. Technically 3 are out, so there's only 3 more songs, which kind of is the EP world and how it goes in the streaming world. But I mean, it was like it's the most collaborative record I ever made. Like I wrote the first song is called Super Glue. Wrote that with Jake, my guitarist. The second song is Stay Out of It. We wrote with a guy here in town named Dan and Reed Rector. Third song is In My Head. Wait, no. Third song called Indianapolis. Wrote with Sean McConnell, guy here in town. Then In My Head, wrote with Manchester. Am I missing one? The Other Way is like recorded live in the studio. I got like my friend Allie to sing on it, and then I wrote a song called Cannonball. And I wrote that with Chris Carrabba from Dashboard, which
Hell
was
yeah.
That's cool.
super cool. Like he lives here in Franklin.
Yeah.
So I got to write with him and Sam Tenez and a guy named Seth Mosley. So the 4 of us were in a room. We wrote that song, and it was just like the most weirdly collaborative. Like it went from me like doing everything to me being like, let me write with like whoever wants to write and help me make these songs. And I really think that that like brought new life to everything. And I'm just really, really excited to get out. But like you said, do I have songs in the wings? I have been writing like a fiend. So I have like 12 new demos beyond this record where I'm like, we're getting something. And so I'm going to do a couple more sessions next month. And my goal is to try to get like 20 songs, 30 songs that I feel like I'm pretty good about, which I never have done before. And then like narrow it down to like the best 15 and then narrow those best 15 down to like the best 10. Then put out a debut full-length record.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Kind of reminds me of what, was it? Switchfoot.
Yeah, Switchfoot.
Did, right?
They did like
They
80 songs.
did like a brilliant song and then cut it down to that.
Yeah.
I forget what that record was.
Hello
but
Hurricane.
Hello,
Yeah,
I
which is
loved
their
it.
best record.
I loved it. Oh yeah, 100%. Without.
Hello Hurricane.
Yeah, they're the best. San Diego. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously,
Do you
they're San
know
Diego
them?
people. Oh yeah, of course. No,
No.
I don't know. No, I don't know them.
I don't know them, but I know people who know them.
They're so nice,
We
yeah.
recorded at a studio they were
Oh,
in.
cool.
Right, Big Fish.
Do you know them?
Kinda.
We don't know them, but you know them? San Diego Heroes?
Recently, I really love that band. Like, Beautiful Letdown was like one of my first CD I
Yeah.
bought, I think.
Yeah.
They, Tim Foreman.
Yeah.
He just he texted me. He's like, hey, this is Tim Foreman from Switchfoot. We've been like big fans of you for a while. We'd love to write, because I saw I had some off days. And so I'm going to hang out with them and write a song.
Nice. When you go to San Diego?
Maybe a different time. But they're sweet people. My friend Jordan Weatherby does like a lot of my design. He's like their main design guy, and so that was kind of the connection there.
Yeah. I wasn't
so what is it like? Like, I need a better question than what is it like? I hate that question.
No, it's a good question.
But like, so we're the same, you and I.
We are.
Like we're all people,
Yeah.
and we're all trying to do music, and like except you, but you tried to do music one time.
Yeah, I
plays
play guitar
guitar.
every once in a while.
Plays guitar.
Yeah.
But not since moving to Nashville.
But not, not professionally, just on the side for fun
Nashville
at my
gotcha.
desk at home.
Yeah.
Nashville, gotcha.
No, I had no intention of coming to Nashville and being a guitar player. That was never in the
I
plans.
know. It's side note. It's sad that the like excellency around here discourages certain people. It's too bad. Anyway, that's a side note. So we're all the same musicians, especially independent musicians. You're just trying to do your thing, and you're putting out music. And for like a very long time, it seems like nobody cares. And for a very long time, nothing's happening. But you're in a spot in the last little bit where some things are happening for you, and now all of a sudden, like Tim Foreman texts you, and like it's interesting that it works that way. That it's like everybody's nobody until all of a sudden something clicks. And if enough people jump on board, all of a sudden things start happening.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
What's your experience of it so far? It seems like so far you're in a spot where you're still like very humble. It seems like you're still very much like,
I try
this
to
is
be.
weird that this is happening to me.
Here's the weird thing. I used to be so cocky.
Really?
When I was, and it was all fake. Like I knew I was like not good, and I know like I'm still like not the best. I'm like doing okay, but when I was first starting, I was like, oh, I'm badass. You know, I got this stuff down. I know how to do this. But like as you get older, you get humbled really quickly, and now my like best, my thing now is like, I never want to be the best person in the room ever. Like I just think it's such a waste of my time to be like the best in the room. And
Well, I'm really, really sad that you wasted all your time with us tonight.
no, but but like I don't want to like when I go like, and that's like I don't want to be the best music like that. Like one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to move here was because like I felt like there wasn't really a music scene. I didn't really have. There's a lot of great musicians in Michigan, but I didn't really feel like there were artists who were like doing what I was. Like I would come home from like a tour or a radio trip, and I would get coffee with a friend, and I would say, "Yeah, I was on a radio trip," and they would like make me feel really bad for being like, "Oh, I just did a radio trip." I'm like, "Oh, Mr. Radio," and like I know they were joking and stuff, but it's like that does not make me feel good, and like I don't want to be. I want to be around people who are like I can learn from, who like doing this radio thing a ton. I want to be around people who are like made hit records. I want to be around people who are just like making records. I just want to be around people who are doing stuff, and there's no like. In my experience, moving to Nashville, I don't feel like there is. It's there, but I know it's not like there's no the energy behind like the competitiveness is not. It's not toxic, at least in my experience. I'm sure it exists.
Yeah, people are going to be people.
But like in the indie music scene of Nashville, maybe in the country scene it's different, but in the indie music scene of Nashville, it's very, very welcoming. And I mean, there's probably like 15 people from Michigan who kind of moved down when I'm moving. You guys should consider moving. Like my band moved, and like a bunch of our friends who are bands adjacent to us, like we should all go down there and like see what. And and I don't know if it's just because like I had a manager reaching out or a label reaching out or whatever it is. It just feels really warm and inviting here, and I always it's cool to be like I can like text somebody that I like message somebody. It's like I would love to work with you, and they message me back and like sounds good. You live in town? Yeah, it's like cool. Or like there's just been like writing. There's been sessions on my calendar sometimes where I'm just like, how is that real? Like how am I getting in a room with like Chris Carrabba, like who I look up to and who was also a very, very famous person, but very, very, very nice. Like too nice. Like after the session, he's like, I really enjoyed listening to you sing all day. I was like, holy moly! Like thank you.
Yeah.
And like he's such a nice guy, and I don't think he would care that I was saying he's a nice guy, but like he's just a sweetheart. And all these people are sweet people. And there's no like, I mean, there's always exceptions to these things, but I am grateful to be in a city where it just kind of feels like a level playing field, and like I feel like there's like a mutual respect for so many people. And you've been here longer than me, and maybe things have changed. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading it wrong.
No, I'm right. I'm right there with you.
But it's just like not like it's just nice. Like it's just nice to be around good people, and it just feels like everybody like. There aren't a lack of pieces of pie. there's plenty of pie to go around. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Yeah.
it's
The
just
internet has very much made it that way
right.
too.
Like, there's a pumpkin. Like, there might be not a lot of pumpkin pie, but there's still an apple pie, and there's still like a cherry pie and a
Pecan pie.
pecan pie, cherry pie, and there's all these different pies. And so
I want to hear this pie thing in the Trump voice.
Well, it's actually it's Tim Heidecker bit. He does this bit about pie. It's stupid, but
I love that you have fully accepted the buttons.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
we tell every guest that, and they
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
and
I forgot which ones are which. Okay.
yeah, and at best they will press one button, and I'm always like, press more buttons.
Press the
doing
buttons.
all the buttons.
He's pulling his cock out.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I love to sing.
Okay.
That's every button. I'm so right there with you. The reason
You're really happy that he hit the buttons too?
the what everything
the
he was talking
buttons.
about before. So I just think, like, one of the reasons I moved to Nashville was just really the main reason I moved here was the culture of the people that I sensed from the beginning, and I'm with you. It's people support each other here. People, I don't know. I haven't experienced a lot of backbiting or sabotage or dog eat dog. I'm sure it exists. I sort of, ever since I took over this studio, I'm sort of feel like separate from people because I'm like just living in my little basement making music. But I don't know. I've never thought that anybody was trying to steal or be better than me, or like I just think everybody's friends and it's all good. And I think there is something to the fact that, like, in Nashville it's very hard to like try to create your fan base here. Like, everybody's doing their own music thing. This isn't really the place to build fans. This is the place to like create your music, create your thing, and
go out.
and it goes out to
Right,
everywhere else.
yeah.
So nobody here's like that protective of like, because it's almost like it feels like, and obviously there's other music markets too, but it kind of feels like it all starts here and we're all just making the musics, and it's clearly for other people that are outside of this place.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
And so there's no reason for me to feel competitive with you. You have your people and your
Right.
thing you're doing. I have my thing and my thing I'm doing, and everybody has their own thing. Like, everyone has a thing. There's just, everyone's doing something. So there's just no reason to feel like somebody else's thing is taking away from your thing.
I feel that way. And back home, it was like a very scarcity mentality, where it was like, oh, and I'm guilty of being a contributor to that. But it was just,
There are 20 people in Michigan.
there's like not a lot of bands, you know, like there's not a lot of bands. There's not a lot of like opening acts like that can like you can put together a bill without being like, okay, this band's opening for you, but now they can't play a show like with another band because they did this thing with you, and there's like just not enough. Like here, there's too many bands,
right.
in a good way, but back home, there's just not a whole crew, you know. No, it's strange.
Yeah. Now, I know that we are coming up fairly close to our time. We got a little bit of time left, but we're coming up fairly close. But I want to make sure before we do get to that ending point of sadness.
Yeah. Is there like a way you guys end the show? Is it?
Oh, there sure is.
Oh,
I can't wait.
there
I can't wait.
Sure is. But we do have one question that we
And
ask
it
every
involves
guest.
a button on the soundboard.
Oh my god.
Do you want to be the guy?
I don't think that.
You know what?
I don't know if the timing of that will work.
I don't know, but
I don't want to. I don't want to be.
The
It.
button-
I don't
you
want. I don't want to do it. I want to experience. I'm
okay.
here to experience.
You know,
Okay, that's fair.
yeah, but now you've told him it's an experience.
Okay.
Now
I wanted to give him the ability.
I'm forgetting it all.
but
You forgot
now-
everything.
But yeah, I think it's fair. Yeah.
No, but before we do get to that, there is a question that we do ask every guest.
Okay.
We asked since episode 1 is the whole reason why we started this podcast is to ask this question to as many people as possible because of how important it is.
It's not why I started it. It is clearly why he started it.
Okay, I'm ready for
It
it.
is the
wasn't
only
my
reason
original
he
pitch,
remains.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the deal.
Yeah.
If you had to choose,
And you do.
and you do. Now, here's the thing. What's important about
awesome.
this question?
I feel like I've wasted all my button hits because that was just so good. I was just dead silent. I am completely sober, and I just thought that was so cool. Anyway,
but the important thing about this question is the answer cannot come from here.
And for the audio only listeners, which
pointing to his
which
head.
I should say, I should take. Yeah, whoa, that's
That's what he says every time.
That's what I say.
pointed to the dome.
Very good.
No, but the answer must come.
This is a really good time to plug the fact that we have made a move since the new season to Anchor, which means all of our podcasts are on video on Spotify. So if you're on Spotify and you didn't know that, you're doing a bad job at Spotify, and you can go click and watch the video.
Watch the video.
Because right now,
And see me
Michigander
pointing
is
to my head.
pointing at you.
I'm pointing at the camera, and you're on the internet watching it.
and you would.
And
know
now my
that.
hand is blocking this camera. But look how cute these guys are. That's all I wanted to say.
If you are not seeing us right now,
You could be.
you could be on Spotify or YouTube.
Right.
That's all I
.com.
wanted to say.
Yeah, or in our Zynga.
And at that point, we do not have a Zynga. At that point, you would see that Jerry was pointing to his head. Yeah.
No, the answer must come
From the heart.
from here.
Okay.
So if you had to choose,
Yes.
And you do.
and you do. Now, what that actually means in reality,
Yes.
coming from your heart,
Yes.
is that I need an answer quickly,
Yeah. deal.
Immediately.
Okay, go ahead.
immediately. I don't want you to think about this answer.
I'm closing my eyes.
I want the
Remember
answer
about-
that is deep.
Yeah, remember how you spend a lot of time writing your songs to really try to make the best song that there is?
Yes.
And you
most of the time.
really take your time?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Okay, here we
No,
go. I'm
not
ready.
at all.
Fast.
Very instantly.
From the soul. If you had to choose,
And you do.
and you do,
Okay, I'm ready.
what would you say is your favorite kind of turtle?
Snapping.
That was
It's
a quick
snapping.
answer. We haven't got an answer that quick in a long
That's
time.
a snappy answer for a snapping
Holy
turtle.
shit! So why?
Well, let me.
Thank you.
Well, I saw a video the other day of this guy on TikTok, and he had a snapping turtle, and he's like, "Let's see if these snapping turtles are really real or whatever." And then he put a big stick in front of the snapping turtle, and the snapping turtle bit the stick. He didn't break the stick, but he bit the stick, and I was like, "Oh."
You didn't
I
break
thought-
the stick?
It was a big stick.
Kind of
but
a
he
little
said,
bitch of a
he's like,
snapping
look at
turtle.
he's like, look at how big the jaw is on these things, and he bit the stick, and I said that was pretty cool. I didn't realize snapping turtles were really snappy.
Yeah, I saw a video of a snapping turtle biting into a pineapple, and it was nothing.
So you ask every guest what their favorite type of turtle is?
Yes.
What does everyone say? Snapping?
No, but that is common.
It's pretty common.
I would say box is probably most common.
Are you turtly enough for the turtle club?
Absolutely.
That's all I need to know.
But no, we get box a lot. We do get snapping. We get the occasional sea turtle. People who really like Finding Nemo.
I think Seth picked a very off-brand turtle.
Of course he
Yeah,
did.
it was like it was a soft shell.
maybe.
No, someone give us a soft shell. It was some random fucking
Yeah,
turtle.
he definitely did.
I think Seth had a very unique kind of
I
turtle.
bet.
Yeah. So originally, this is a question that I've had in my head for a long time,
Okay.
and the reason being, at the time when I came up with this question, I was going to a lot of job interviews.
Yeah.
And
They would say, "Do you
every
have any
interview
questions?"
was the same. No, every interview was the same thing. Like they asked the same questions. Like it was all the same. And I thought to myself, if I ever get a chance to ask people questions,
to detail.
Well, this is the
Right,
question
I
that
think-
I always get asked. How do you write a song? And you go,
Yeah.
well, it's none of your business.
just buy it.
If I told you, I wouldn't have a job
And
anymore.
so I thought this is the kind of question that lets me
I like
know if
it.
someone could think on their feet.
I like it. So I do
You clearly
I
can.
do a live stream called Michigander Mondays, and I have a 5-question speed round.
Oh, really?
Can I do it to
really?
you guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just
Wait,
lightning.
you can do it to us?
Yeah, right here. Live.
Oh, this is
Hell
my
yeah.
favorite
Okay.
thing. Wait. Are you doing? Are we both answering?
It's just right away. Just whatever right at the door.
Both?
It's yes or no's.
Yes or
Okay.
no's?
Okay, ready? Muffins or cupcakes?
Cupcakes.
Okay. Sunshine or rainbows?
Sunshine.
Cuddles or hugs?
Cuddles.
High fives or fist bumps?
High
Fist
fives.
bumps.
Who said fist bumps?
Me.
You're right.
Hell
High
yeah.
fives are so bad. And the last question is: are scooters bikes?
No.
No.
Okay.
Wow, we were 100% in alignment
Except for the fist
high
bumps
fives
thing?
and fist bumps. But as soon as I said high fives and you
Like,
said fist
you
bumps,
knew
I was
fist
like,
bumps were
I
right.
wish I said fist
Yeah,
bumps.
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
what's up, dude?
Wait, I like legitimately like
almost-
already like well, okay. Can we review these questions? Well, okay, because like I was just so fast. I don't even remember what the first question was. What was the first question?
Muffins or cupcakes?
Oh, I did regret that. Muffins are better.
Muffins are better. I had a
Muffins
muffin.
are better.
I hadn't eaten dinner yet, and so I grabbed a muffin at Humphrey's. Good muffin.
Depends on the muffin though.
I got an apple oat muffin.
I would say your average cupcake is better than your average muffin.
That's true. I
But
agree
the
with that.
better muffin is better than the
Muffin
best
kind of
cupcake.
feels like a meal.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing.
That's a good point.
What's the second one? Sunshine and rainbows.
Sunshine.
Yeah, sunshine.
Sunshine is.
We're from San Diego.
But rainbows are rare, so that's something people like. Cuddles or hugs. I like to say hugs because you can hug most people. Can't
You
really.
could- I mean, you could cuddle most people if they're cool. If they're cool,
It's 2020. You can't do that.
yeah, cuddle anybody.
What was the last
It's not
one?
2020
I know.
anymore.
Yes, that was several years ago.
We said it's 2020 so many times, it just feels like forever is 2020.
Hey, forever. What is what was the other one? Fist bumps or high fives?
Fist bump, obviously.
High- yeah, okay,
High
you're
five's
right.
is a little like,
It's like,
much
what's
now.
up, dude? And
Yeah.
you're like, get away from me.
Right,
Yeah.
you freaking creep.
Yeah.
But a fist bump's cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And the Scooter's bikes.
Absolutely not. That's just
See, that was like a
nonsense.
joke. That was like a joke, and that always throws. And I've had some big guests on the show that I don't know how I've gotten, and they don't. They're the ones who don't follow me back, but they just like they're on the show, and they always are really confused by that one because I say is Scooter's bikes,
Not R is.
and the fun part is I say is Scooter's bikes. And then I go, I don't know. And then I go, is Chips bread? And they
Is chips bread?
I go,
I'm gonna start asking that question to
I
just
think
people.
this episode might need to be called
Is
Is
Chips
Chips
Bread?
Bread?
the thing is nobody actually, no one needs to dissect that. They should just say, no one knows. Or who's to say is a good answer.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? Like, I'll let God choose that one.
Above my pay grade.
Yeah.
You know what? I gotta say, I'm really proud of us.
Yeah,
I was proud of you
Because
guys.
we ask somebody a stressful, like we make it purposefully way more intense than it is because we find it funny and they never do. But and I'm just proud that when you gave us 5 rapid fires, we were
rocked it.
fucking on it.
You rocked
Yeah.
it.
It's good
Yeah.
that we've practiced. Okay, speaking of Michigander Mondays,
Yeah.
I noticed that you had Andrew McMahon.
It's McMahon, right?
McMahon,
It
whatever.
definitely is
I don't know
McMahon.
how to say his name.
See, I thought it was
Because-
Andrew McMahon, and I've always saying Andrew McMahon, and then somebody, one of my friends, I forget who, was like, "Hey, you were saying his name wrong," and I said, "No, I wasn't." He said, "It's Andrew McMahon or McMahon." I was like, "No, it's not. We have the same manager.
It definitely is.
So you're probably right. I have no idea.
It's McMahon."
Because the important thing is something corporate,
Yeah,
and then Jack's mannequin.
right. Yes,
Anyway, I love something corporate, and I love Jack's mannequin.
he's a nice guy.
Yeah. How did
Such-
you? Same manager. Is
Yeah,
that
same
how you got
manager.
hooked up
Yeah.
with
Well,
him on your show?
I just was like, well, there was a while, and I was like trying to just get anybody, and then I was like, I should get like artists who I like look up to, and so over the years I've had some pretty cool ones on the show. Had Briston Maroney, Nashville guy. He's a great dude. Had Joy Laudacoon, also a Nashville artist.
I was just thinking about her today. I'm
She's
like, I
so
feel like
great.
she would be good to have on the show.
You should try to have her on here. She's
Dude.
so fun. But she's great. Who else? Had Dayglow, had Noah Khan.
Love Dayglow.
Yeah, it's just been fun to have like a lot of just like random people.
So
No.
so you do Michigander Mondays,
It's on
Is this a
Instagram.
podcast?
but
or
today
what
is
it?
Monday.
Oh yeah, I don't do it every week. I used to do it every week, but then I was kind of like, I don't want to have a commitment.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
So and then
I was gonna say, did you cancel it to come here?
no, but I should have.
This
Well, you
should have been
should've just said
Michigander
yes.
Mondays.
It should have been. It's just like a 30-minute show. I play a song, do a thing, and just have a guest on for 30 minutes or for 15 minutes, and just
Now,
real
is there
quick.
a way people can go back and watch the old
There
ones?
used to be, but there might be archives somewhere on Instagram, but I don't think they don't really do archiving very well anymore. So unfortunately, if you miss it, you miss it. Now.
You saw that shit on
So
YouTube.
It's like a live stream.
It's a live stream, yeah. I just like join and then I have the guests come on, and it's usually pretty fun. The Andrew McMahon one was my favorite one.
Really?
Yeah, that
So
was
did you grow up listening to him at all?
not like Manchester Orchestra, like, but I knew his songs, and like I think his new music's great too. But he just is like, I forgot that I was like not FaceTiming him. Like I forgot that I was like, oh, I'm talking to him in front of people, which has never been a real thing for me. Like usually they're The Briston one was really some of them are really natural, but then like some of them are like not the best.
Yeah, sure.
There's
Well,
like,
it's
some poor
short.
ones. It's
which
short.
which is hard to like kind of warm up in that time.
Yeah, but it's also like it should be a lot easier. I'm thinking because it is short. It should be like, oh, what's up, man? How you doing? But I don't have to like figure out what to talk about for an hour, 2 hours.
Well, we used to in the original iteration of the show, we didn't have like now we try to keep it to a certain time about. We used to not have that.
Yeah.
And we would just go until we decided we were done.
Good. Yeah.
And which sometimes we had 2 episodes that were longer than 5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And we go to like 3 a.m.
Here's
and
the problem.
By the end, we're drunk.
I could go. I don't want to say this now because I didn't prepare for this, and my wife is probably going to be
6-hour
concerned.
episode.
But if you ever want to do, maybe we could do ananother one that's really.
Oh, for sure.
Because
I feel like we have
I'm
way
really
more to
having the
talk to you
best time,
about.
and I was like, is this gonna like end soon? Because he's talking about turtles, and I don't know how you guys do this, but I'm not trying to wrap it up, but like I would love to do like the Post Malone version where it's 4 hours long.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I could talk for a long time.
we got to do that like a Friday.
Yeah, so we're near the end. It's not over yet.
No.
We're
Okay,
very
good.
close.
Yeah.
But also, the same is mutual. And I think that
Yeah, that's how we
I'm
always
having
feel.
I'm having a lot of fun, and I just saw a text from my wife on my watch. She's the only person I have it like where I can come through. I guess she ordered DoorDash, so. I said I think I'll be done by 8:30, 8 something. And I was like I don't really know, but she's like okay, but we're really nervous like leaving now because like
Because of all the things.
I might be
things,
dead. I'm not dead, but
Yeah.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
used to stream it live, and then she'd be able
Oh,
to
she
watch.
can watch it. I'm
but
glad it's not
We
live.
don't do that now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're close, and we'll definitely have to have you back. I was just thinking it
100%,
was
yeah.
interesting because, like, if you're doing, I assume I haven't seen Michigander Mondays.
Yeah. God damn. Get it
But,
right, Ryan.
Good job. You're doing great. We're really proud of you. We're so proud of you.
Asking this.
So proud.
Glory.
So proud.
So
frankly.
I assume, frankly, folks, I imagine that Michigander Mondays is via like the internet, not
Yeah.
like in person.
Right.
Like that's one thing about this show that I think is interesting. For the most part, I don't feel like anybody is listening or watching. Like it's literally
Like, we're just
us.
hanging out.
It's just us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the problem with Michigander Mondays is you have like the comment section just pop, and then you have like my friend who's trying to make me laugh, and then you have like a bandmate, or then you have like some weird fan. But then the weird part is you get like Michigander fans, and you get like also like Noah Khan fans in the same chat, and you're like, who's here to see who? None of these people care about me, but they're all here for Noah. And it's just kind of funny.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Every so often during this show, somebody will say something that, like, in my head alludes to the fact that other people will hear this that aren't
And
us
then you remember.
three.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, weird.
Yeah. It's dangerous.
See, I just I
We're thinking about
expect
others.
that everything that I say will be heard by others
Yeah.
because when I'm not doing
Hey,
this,
you're heard.
thank you.
You're welcome.
It's all I've ever wanted.
Yeah.
We need to.
But I
Do we need to spend some time in kind of encouraging you a little bit?
please no. That's like my worst nightmare. But outside of this, I also just like stream games. I stream
Yeah.
games all like whenever I'm
Oh,
playing
yeah.
games, I stream games.
Totally.
And like a lot, like kind of a lot, like way more than your average person.
Like you are streaming or you're watching.
Damn day.
Yeah.
I play Call of Duty every day.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I feel that.
Except today.
You should get in some Overwatch, man. We should play
I
more
play-
Overwatch.
I played a
Let's
little- I
fucking
just
do it.
don't
I'll teach you.
like-
I'll
I
teach you.
just-
But the thing is, you don't understand it.
I don't have much time
It's
to
3D
play,
chess.
and I just love. I have this squad that. This is the problem. I have all these friends. I have this group of friends who play video games, and we formed in 2020 during everything. that
Oh
was
yeah,
going
during
on.
during the show.
So we're
yeah.
like, let's just play, and so it's like this team, and it's really. It's no offense to anybody else, but it's really hard for me to play squad up
I
with
get that.
other
I
folks.
get that. I get
because
that.
I've just had this camaraderie with this very
Yeah.
core group of people.
just bring them all to Overwatch because the
And I
truth
say,
is,
guys-
Call of Duty is kind of whatever.
Nah, Overwatch is fine. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's the problem.
I get it, you just don't
I told him I can't play tonight because I gotta go do a podcast.
Wow, we're special.
Does your squad like know that you have like a,
That
on
I'm-
the rise,
that I'm
successful
really
artist
famous?
career going on?
No, well, one of them plays guitar with me,
So no.
Okay.
and so no. And one of them is like one of my they're all really good friends. They're like real life friends that we formed.
It's dope.
Yeah.
You know, our producer Wes he's also a gamer.
Wes, what do you
But,
play? What does he play?
Rocket
League.
Oh, Rocket League's fun. I haven't
Not
played that
like
in
a
long time.
goddamn professional. Like he's real good.
I'm proud of you, Wes.
I'm trash at Rocket League, but he's real
so
good.
proud of you.
Did
Yay!
you switch to the Wesley cam? Nice.
Oh, we're proud of Wes.
we love
He's
the
so
Wesley
good. So good. He's a fantastic player and game of sport.
You know what I've never considered until like 30 minutes ago
Yeah.
is that for the guest, you see him
I see him the whole
and
time.
you see do you see the angle we're on?
I do see the angle.
I think we should think about this.
I've never thought about
And now
that
I
before.
look at, now there's me. Look at
Yeah, see, we don't see what angle he's on. We don't see
he's
him.
on you, and now he's gonna go back to me in 3, 2, boom. And now we have 4, 2, changing to camera 1, 2, 3, camera 1.
We like at least I only see you.
Yeah.
That's actually all I can see.
You know what's not okay?
Jury's in my
here's-
peripheral, and I have
This
to
is
look choose.
here's the
Yeah.
problem with this setup. I'm just gonna critique.
Yeah.
I can't like. It's hard for me to focus on both of you. It's one or the other.
To be fair, it's impossible to look at two things at once. Unless
Also,
you can
he's
change
lit a little better than you.
Am I
what
really?
the?
So
Makes sense.
so he's like a little glowing, and then I go, oh yeah, Jury's over here.
When we were
And
discussing,
I think that's actually a good thing because so you and I are seated directly across. So everything about your chair and your world tells you to look at me.
yes.
But I'm actually the better listener
true
in the context of the
100%.
show, but not in real life.
100%, also accurate.
Yeah. In real life, outside of our show, Jury's the better listener. And
True.
I believe it.
but on the show,
I hear
I'm
you.
the better listener.
This is your time to like entertain, though.
That's
Yes.
the thing, because I've been streaming for
Good
so
call.
long. I like it's like when as soon as like I know there's a camera, I like turn
gotta
on.
go. Yeah.
Like my energy is like
And that's how I am.
my
when
energy is
when
not
I'm
this
at home,
high.
I'm
normally.
not performing. This is like a cool thing. I'm gonna say this is one of my cool things. I don't like doing anything after shows. I like to go to sleep because I get everything I need on the stage.
Yeah.
I don't need the party.
Yeah.
I got
like
the
that.
show.
But yeah,
How you gonna beat a couple hundred people singing your stupid songs?
that's
back
pretty
to you?
rad.
It's
You gonna do
amazing.
that, or you gonna go like, oh, I'm gonna have a beer at a bar?
I mean, I'm gonna have a beer, but it's gonna be at my home.
Yeah, I just want to go to bed. Just get me to the
No.
hotel, get me in the shower.
But I definitely consider myself like I feel like I'm a very different person when,
Oh.
I'm,
On the show.
when I'm on than when I'm not.
Big time.
Maybe I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't know. You guys know me. You can tell me if that's true or not.
For me, I am. Yeah.
both are-
yeah? You're,
Yeah.
you're kind of the
I
same way?
think so. I mean, talking before, I was kind of like this, but you got to perk up a little bit. You gotta
Right,
set
right,
it
right,
straight.
right,
And
right.
frankly, you have to be a good boy. Jordan Peterson, he's a good guy. He tells you to tuck in your shirt and comb your hair and be a good little boy. Jordan Peterson sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Yes,
He does kind of sound like Kermit.
You need to be a good little boy. Tuck in your shirt. Comb your hair. Buy flowers. Have you heard about music?
That is, I've never
really
thought
good.
about that, but now that you mention it, that's all I'll be able to ever
hell.
think
You've
about.
never heard of that? I've
You've
thought
heard
that for
that?
my whole life.
I've not
Kermit?
heard that.
I've always thought he sounded like Kermit the Frog.
12 rules. Do the dishes.
Clean your room.
Clean your
That's
room.
number one, right?
Be a good little boy.
Oh my god,
Oh, hell.
Miss Piggy.
Oh, hey, Piggy. Kermie.
It's hell, man.
Oh, did you ever see the video where he's talking about music and it's like in Nashville? He's like, I went to Nashville.
Yes.
And he's like talking about Broadway. And he
Right.
goes, he's like, I saw a guitar solo, a man playing
Oh,
guitar
I
solo,
have
and
seen
it just
that,
made
yeah.
me weep.
Like he mentioned specifically
Okay.
Roberts.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a video of him dance.
But it wasn't
Peterson.
Daniel Donato he was talking about.
No.
No.
So okay. So Minnie, do you know who Daniel Donato is?
No, it sounds so familiar.
He's a guitar player, and he used to play at Robert's Western World.
Oh, okay.
So I saw that video from the Joe Rogan podcast.
Is that what it's from?
It's from Joe Rogan, yeah. Jordan Peterson. He's talking about Broadway and how he saw
Hilarious.
Kelly's Heroes. So Daniel Donato was in the Don Kelly band.
Okay.
And he was on our show like very early, like
Really?
episode like 9.
And he was like, for how early he was, so remarkably impressive. Like he had his signature guitar
Oh,
with
wow.
him that was like a prototype at the time.
Wow.
And he like ripped guitar, and I was just like, I've never heard of a guitar player in my
He's a
life.
really incredible
And he is
guitarist.
incredible.
He was at Bonnaroo this year on the strength of his guitar. But anyway,
Yeah.
so Daniel used to play in this band at Robert. Have you been to Robert's?
No.
Really?
Okay.
The only time I go downtown is for the Ryman. but I
Okay.
need to go.
That's the one spot that I like.
Roberts is the other
it's
thing.
a cool spot, right?
Yes.
Everyone
Yeah.
says, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to go there.
So Daniel used to play there. So when Jordan Peterson talked about being at Roberts and singing a guitar solo, and he talked about Riders on the Storm, Daniel used to play that solo. So I texted Daniel. I was like, Jordan Peterson was just talking about Riders on the Storm, but it wasn't about Daniel. It was about their new guitar player, and his name is Luke something. I can't remember his last name at the moment. Anyway,
Is that who Jordan was talking about?
he was talking about the guy who currently plays
the doctor.
Yes. And so that guy, Luke, I can't remember his last name.
Combs.
No,
Johnson.
Bryant.
Smith.
Jonathan. Anyway, so that kid's like Instagram like blew up overnight.
From Jordan Peterson?
Yes.
That's
Oh,
funny.
that poor guy.
But he is this kid like so at Roberts, they have the Don Kelly band. Now it's called Kelly's Heroes because Don Kelly left it.
Okay.
This band is famous because their lead guitar player, whoever it is going to become famous.
Yeah, they're always like, what's the word?
Prodigy?
No, virtuoso. I want to say mafioso, but that's like
Prodigy
the pizza
should
place.
too.
They like find this
Prodigy,
kid. They just find
yeah.
a kid and they're like, he's going to be the
Yes.
next thing. Okay.
Yeah, like have you
yeah.
heard of Brett Mason before?
No.
Brett Mason's like an A-list. I don't know if he's as big now, but when I moved here, people would talk about him. He's like A-list country lead guitar player.
Okay.
Like he'd be on anything.
Right.
He was in the Don Kelly band. Like if you're in the Don Kelly band,
You're-
you're playing at Roberts
You're
Western World,
prone for greatness.
you
Yeah.
will be famous afterwards.
And it's because of that weird little guy, Jordan.
Kermit the Frog here. Oh, Jordan the Peterson here.
You need to make sure you scrub the floor with a toothbrush. And then brush your teeth and clean your room. You must be good little boys.
Next time you're on episode 2,
I can't wait for
we're
next
going
time.
deep into Jordan Peterson.
I want to just go down that world. It's
we'll go down any rabbit hole you
talk
want.
about Candace Owens
We didn't
and all
even
those.
mention conspiracy theories on this episode or anything.
No, we stayed pretty on topic. I will say.
I will say.
I hope.
we
I just
did.
want to, for the record, I don't like Jordan Peterson. I think he's a
I
dingus.
think that's clear.
okay.
I think that's clear.
This has been Michigander.
Oh, I thought that's how you end the show. And I was like,
No.
holy moly, that sucks.
God damn, that was abrupt. No.
I wish it were. I just love that sound effect, and I
That's
haven't
from
gotten to press it this whole time.
The Eric Andre show.
Yeah.
he's-
That's. It's not.
Well, I know,
from
but he
that,
uses
but that's,
that, yeah,
he uses
yeah.
that. Yeah.
All I know is that is the greatest sound effect we've ever had.
It's great.
No,
So good.
it's not. The best sound effect we have is.
He's pulling his cock out.
Oh, wait, hold on. What's this one again?
You can't dissuade me. I press that button every episode.
Hell, good little boys. I've never heard anybody say that for a Jordan
But
Peterson.
did you
That's pretty good.
just record?
Yeah, that's what it looked like you were doing. Did you just record that sound clip?
No.
I know. Oh, you're connecting your Bluetooth.
I'm connecting Bluetooth.
for the outro.
Yes.
Got it.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay. Yeah, I like that.
But anyway, yeah, we are wrapping up here. But before we do get out of here, where can all the people find you?
Oh, yeah. So
And this is where Seth said his home address. So
Okay.
don't do that.
I'm not going to put my home address on here, but Michigander is, you just search Michigan, DER, all one word. Search it on Spotify, Apple
Which
Music.
I will say, for all that's the official now.
Yeah.
If you type in Michigander, you
I
are the
still come
first
up.
result.
Am I really?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Your website is the first result.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so Michigander streaming everywhere, Spotify, at Michigander Band if you want to follow on Instagram or Twitter, which is a good place right now, or TikTok.
Facebook?
Facebook, Michigander.
Yeah.
Michigander Band.
MySpace?
MySpace. No.
LiveJournal?
No, but SoundCloud.
Zynga?
No.
Be Real?
Is it? Yeah, I'm on Be Real, Michigander. Yeah. You guys are in my Be Real from today.
That's right. You did it right here.
Tremendous Be Real.
So pretty much Michigander everywhere that you want to
Search
find
for
stuff.
Michigander and folks in Michigan. They have a nasty governor.
Except for-
nasty governor.
Instagram was
we
Michigander
need to try
Band.
her in the woods.
Yeah, try in the woods. Michigan. Instagram is at everything is at Michigander Band.
Okay.
Yes.
Everywhere that you want to find them.
Yeah.
So make sure to go check that out. And also your tour's coming up in just a couple
My
months.
tour will be out. I'll be heading out end of March into April. When is this going to air?
We'll talk about that later, but it's like December or January.
Okay. Well, there will be
a few weeks.
Well, I just want to say, if it's not announced, I don't care. But we're playing in Nashville. We haven't announced it yet. On April 29th at Exit
Okay.
In, which people think is closing. And
Yeah, they just released some big thing thinking they were
It's
closing.
not closing.
What?
He's changing
But
owners.
Oh, so
But also, I think this is public information if you just read the whole article.
I read like their
Wow.
statement they posted on
Yeah,
Reddit.
that was the owner.
I saw it on Reddit.
I don't know anything
so-
about it. I'm new to town, but from what I understand, is this new. It's just changing hands.
Okay, interesting.
'Cause we are playing a show there on April 29th.
As far as you know,
No, I know we are.
Wherever you are listening to this show,
Michigander band
this
everywhere.
spring, Michigander's going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And wherever you are, you need to go see Michigander.
Yeah,
Are you
Michigander-
mainly on the West? I saw you're
No,
in
it's
San
coast
Diego
to
on
coast.
31st. but
Coast
you're
to coast. We start in Phoenix. We end in Nashville. We go to New York. We go to
Michigander.
Yeah,
1,000 years Michigander. Go see it
it's a really good show.
forever.
This is actually going to be a good show. We're working on it. We're hard on this one.
A tremendous
It'll be a
show.
good tour.
Tremendous.
They're saying, folks, it's almost as good as Lee Greenwood singing "God Bless America," folks. And he is so good. And God bless America.
And on that note, guys, I guess.
and I
So
know.
we're gonna go out playing. We're gonna
right.
play "Stay Out of
Oh,
It"
cool.
over the credits.
Amazing.
Yeah,
we don't actually have credits. It's just kind of us.
yeah, whatever.
But, you know.
I love
We're
it.
about to play "Stay Out of It" by Michigander,
Thank you.
and
Anyways, guys, as always, thanks for coming to hang out. You guys are awesome. And I will see y'all next time.
Here we go again.